That's strange. Am I live? Am I still live? Can anyone hear me? I had a power failure as I'm starting the stream. Goes off. I don't know. Is the stream still on? I don't know what happens in these cases. I'm assuming it just went to, oh, I am still live. Okay, that's fucking weird. Yeah, that's better than me having to fucking start everything up again. I don't know. I guess the are okay. Well, that was, that's strange, but better than having to start everything up. There we go. There I am. Okay, there everyone is. Welcome. I don't know how long there's just nothing happening. I can't even end the stream if that happened and it didn't come back on because it wasn't even showing on my phone that I was live. So I guess the stream would just be up. Oh, your intro got fucked and it went to that purple stream. Yeah, my internet's coming back, so it's a little shitty right now. Okay, well that's very bizarre. A good 5 minutes of nothingness. What a great way to start, What a great way to start. Okay, well, fuck. Okay, well, I was in the middle of posting my little fucking links into other people's chats. So everyone, hold on while I do this section. Say something to people. Entertain the chat from the chat. Okay. Well, you know what? I'll try to multitask. Welcome. This is Paige. Sorry. Fuck, I already fucked up. This is Diane. Fuck, I can't multitask. Who am I kidding? This is Diane, aka AVG, in a Narcan debate. Okay, I think it happened yesterday against Witchy. And so I already know that AVG probably absolutely destroyed, but I haven't watched it yet. But, I have faith in my sister. Okay, so I have titled the video accordingly. And we're going to be reacting to that. It's 3 hours long. I don't know how much we're going to get through exactly, but we're going to try. Okay. And I'm almost done spamming my link to all the chats. There we go. Well, yeah. Well, Big Soda, you don't even know. Okay. Well, first of all, the power happened and I'm a different man. It actually zapped me and shaved so much of my beard off, as you can see. But yes, the links still should be posted. It's the same stream, I guess, even though the power went off, right? Everything should be the same, I think. I think we're good besides that 5 minutes of utter darkness, okay? So besides that, we're good. So if you want to join and react alongside us and see AVG absolutely destroy Witchy, because we all know she did, then you can click the link that's pinned at the top of the chat. You can also click the link that's in the description. They lead to the same place. Good to see you, Section 230. Good to see you, Big Soda. I'm trying to get back on my feet now, okay? This is normal. This is how I always start a stream. I always start a stream with a good old-fashioned power outage during the intro. My whole rhythm up. Okay, first of all, my headset now is fucked. Yeah, this is fun. Just give me a sec. It's connected to the wrong Bluetooth thing, and so it's making everything sound like shit. How exactly do I fix that, though? That's the question. Oh, God. Okay. Just give me a sec. Everything's fuckered. Okay. Connect. Headset, please. Oh, my God. Really? Turn it off and turn it back on. Big Soda, get on panel. Get on panel so you can talk to people while I work on my freaking audio issues, okay? I mean, I can still talk. I guess there's no one to hear, so I guess it doesn't really matter if my headset's off now that I think about it, okay? But, I don't have much interesting stuff to say while I'm also trying to do tech support. I have to call to Sticker Johnson, my local tech support. Not that he's the best at it. He's just racially the most likely to know the answer. Okay, now let's try it. There we go. Okay. So now we're probably at the wrong spot in this debate. I had it all set up. Okay, you know what? That doesn't matter, though. We're fine. We go with it. Fuck it, we do it live, okay? That's fine. That's fine. So we're going to have to find the exact moment that it starts. But we could do that. We might just have to hear some preambles. Sounding like me yesterday with the technical issues. Yeah, for real. Well, Brandon, I had a power outage during my freaking intro while my intro was playing. And so but the stream kept going, even though all my electricity was just off. So apparently it's just blackness and then it fucked everything up. But at least the stream kept going, which means I don't have to make a new thumbnail and a new link and all that shit.
On screen when you have 1 minute left. Okay.
Is this the beginning?
And then
is that the right spot?
Good afternoon, evening.
Okay, yeah, I think this is good. So yes, if you want to join along, click the link. You can watch this debate alongside me. Okay, see exactly how good Diane did, because I'm assuming she did very well. Or share your opinions about Narcan as we almost certainly get into the weeds fighting about that instead of watching the debate. But hey, don't threaten me with a good time.
AVG and everybody out there in the ether watching on all the channels. So AVG and I discussed a debate on Narcan
Versus Diane, who's looking pretty sharp in this video, I'm not going to lie.
On the idea that Narcan should only be administered to people through medical professionals, and only the medical professional should be in possession of it. So what that means isn't that we stop using Narcan, but that Narcan stops getting handed out freely on the street, or like Beth had mentioned before she brought.
See, we talked about this. I talked about this with Diane before the debate on which direction we thought this was going to go, because there's really only a few arguments you could make. So I want to preempt them. Okay, I want to at least guess them. I think you either have to go at it from like maybe just a government point of view of like money, and like we don't want to. Why would we give these people money? Or you could take a really black-pilled stance and be like, hey, if a junkie's going to die, a junkie's going to die. Or what I think is the more likely option, which would be my steel man, even though I think it's a terrible position that Witchy is taking, is that, if people, and I said this before, so if you've heard it, sorry if I repeat myself, but I'll speed run it, that people are using people are using opioids are trying to dopamine max in an opiate way. They're trying to opamax, if you will, and you must. And so, but if they have the presence of Narcan with them, they might be tempted to use more of the drug because they think, hey, I have a get out of jail free card and stuff. So maybe you could make some argument that you're actually somehow making it worse. Now, I think all the empirics goes against that, but that's like the best argument you could possibly make, I think. But we'll see what direction she goes. There we go. We got Noah Hyde Soda, who uses the pronouns Christ person. No accusative pronoun or whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah, just Christ person. It's just a one pronoun kind of guy, you know?
Keeping it simple.
How's it going, Big Soda? Do you agree with me before we start this? I can't remember. I'm assuming you do, but you don't have to. I mean, it's 2026.
Give your position again.
Well, I was giving my steel man, I guess. I'm not asking you. I guess I'm asking if you agree with that. I'm on the side of AVG in this. That I think Narcan. I think people should be able to have that without it being administered by a physician or medical person or whatever.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna take the devil's advocate and I'm gonna go with Witchy Bishy.
How dare you? What would your argument be? Would it be one of the ones I mentioned?
Because my preference.
Oh, your preference. Okay, I see. Well, now Brandon, well, of course, yeah. Now that he says preference, Brandon's like, did someone say my preferences? I agree with that guy. He sounds cool. Freaking Brandon.
Anybody up about them being in dispensers out where people can just randomly.
Oh, the only other argument is maybe like if you're talking about like, but this would be a stupid argument. It was brought up last time. A stupid argument that like you could like somehow. That these things could be dangerous or something, that like Narcan, that like maybe like it's the same as like an EpiPen, like it's an IM like auto injector, but like maybe you're going to hit a vein. Even if you do, by the way, nothing bad happens. I mean, it's just pointy thing dangerous. That's really the only argument, because the drug itself is like innocuous. If you take it and you're not an opioid addict, it doesn't do anything to you. And so everything else is like, yeah, it's just literally the pointy nature of the thing.
Too many people getting addicted to Narcan.
Yeah, well, that's remember. I think it was Kirk that was on here, and he was like fighting with me so vehemently, and then it came out that he like thought Narcan. He was like thinking that was like methadone or Suboxone or something, because he's talking about people getting hooked on Narcan. And I'm like, why are you so angry about something you know so little about, Kirk? Like you think it's like a fucking opiate replacement. It's like, okay, so passionate for not knowing what the topic even was. Shut up, Kirk.
Or that every time you get an opiate prescription in the United States, you're instantly, given Narcan, and if they don't have it on hand, they'll even hold your pain medication until they have.
I've never heard of that.
Witchy's cooking right now.
I don't think. I mean, that's. I guess we could look up. I don't think if you just go in and you break your leg and they hand you like T3s that they have to give you Narcan. I don't think that's the case. Maybe it's the case some places. I've never heard that in my life.
Narcan to give you with it.
Maybe she's talking about the
In
street
fact,
doctor.
AVG is gonna maybe.
That'd be a nice dealer if your dealer every time he sold you some like heroin laced with fent, he also was like, here, have some Narcan just in case.
Just in case.
You don't want to kill your customers, in theory. Although, it's actually, this is unrelated, but this is a black pilling thing that I learned. This is a really depressing thing because I always thought like, why do drug dealers like fuck it up so bad that oftentimes they kill their own customers? Like surely, and I understand they're not the smartest people necessarily, but surely you wouldn't want to do that. But then I remember when I lived in Vancouver, there was like this massive chain. It was one of like the biggest in a single day of like people overdosing. There was like some real bad batch, I guess, got out and it killed like a bunch of people. But then the news reported that like then everyone, the real hardcore junkies that didn't have much money, they were like seeking that out. It was almost like an advertisement. Like a bunch of junkies died in this area and therefore this is the really strong dope. So it's like, right. So yeah, because it's like if you're like opiate naive or you don't have a big tolerance, then it's like, yeah, that amount is going to kill you. But if you're like a veteran and you like are pumping fentanyl into your veins constantly, then it's like, oh, that's cheap. That's a cheap high, right? So it's like, so that actually is like a disturbing element where it's like to kill people is actually advertising your product to like the hardcore junkies, which is really fucked up to think about. Because I always just thought, oh, this is like an accidental thing, and they don't. No one would intentionally do that because it would like harm their own bottom line. But in some ways, it doesn't. So that's just a really depressing thought for you guys. Okay.
The best way to really fix
That is if they get with the FDA and the FDA starts doing like recalls for like certain batches. So like if certain batches go out, the FDA can be like, no, we're going to pull these batches back and don't eat from these batches.
Yeah. Well, this is what makes me in this event, why I think this also was like more disturbing, is it was a certain color. It was like purple. Like this, everyone was talking about this like purple dope. And so to me, it's like, well, why would it be fentanyl's not purple? So it's like, that almost seems like you are trying to advertise it, where it's like, because now it is identifiable. So now the people trying to avoid it will avoid it, but the people that want that, it's like the blue meth and like fucking Breaking Bad. Like it fucking actually is. So the whole thing is just like, here comes Testy might actually know about this. Testy, lives in the BC Pacific Northwest adjacent area.
I just get here and you're doxing me already?
I said BC area.
The moment you come on.
I haven't been watching the stream, so I don't know what you guys have been talking about.
Oh, I was talking about there. Okay, so I'll run you up to speed. This is a little tangential, so I'll speed run it. I'm saying in Vancouver a number of years ago, it was one of like the biggest, at least at the time, amount of people that had died in a single day from opiates because there was like a bad batch that had like an unusual amount of fentanyl mixed in with heroin.
Yeah, it was like 20
and I was saying,
people or something. It was something crazy.
Yeah, and like there was like everyone was like working overtime to like Narcan people and all this stuff, and I was saying that the disturbing thing, the black pilling thing that I learned about is I always thought, why would you kill your own people? Like if you're a drug dealer, what's the incentive? Like it must just be like that they're just retarded. But then I realized this stuff was like purple, and it became like an advertisement because then the people who are real hardcore junkies on a high tolerance would go out of their way to find that stuff.
Yes,
so there is some intentionality possibly in killing people because it might advertise your product.
Well, killing them itself is not what they want, but they do like overdosing is like good advertising. That's like a real strategy.
Right.
Usually what they'll do is they will taint part of their supply themselves. It like this one was unintentional or they cut it bad or something, so it's like way overboard. But like they'll hand out like baggies that they assume are like more safe. I mean, none of this shit is safe. But then they will like a small batch of it. They'll be like, this is the strong shit that'll like make people overdose or get super fucked up. And word of mouth is everything on the streets because like
right,
homeless people or drug addicts are not picky. So if there's like the prices are all the same and it's just who has the best dope. So yeah, once you hear people have overdosed, they're like, well, that must be good shit.
Right. Yeah.
And everyone's like, well, my tolerance, like my, it's not going to happen to me. Like that's the attitude, right? So it's 100%. It's an intentional, real thing. I'm sure it happens by accident, like in that particular case. In other cases, like it is also, it can bring a lot of scrutiny from the authorities if it's that blatant. But
right.
yeah, no, that's definitely a real thing.
Yeah, that's before this moment, not like this moment now, but when I realized this, I always thought that the hot pockets and stuff, that okay, like the not like the food, the hot pockets, but like where you have like maybe you're mixing the fentanyl and it kind of clumps in a little way. Well, now when you scoop it out, it's gonna be like very, very bad. But
it's very black.
To think of the intentionality is like, that's disturbing to me. I know drug dealers aren't notoriously the most like ethical people.
Yeah.
I would like to think that you're not wanting people to overdose. You know what I mean? Like that there'd still be something there.
Considering your clientele, like if you're a street level dealer and you see firsthand and you're living amongst like the human misery, that you have to dehumanize people to some degree. Like at a certain point, you're probably not even seeing them as people, right? So I can't imagine like killing that part of yourself to view other people in that fashion, that you're like either knowingly or unknowingly just because, the logic is always, well, if they don't get it from me, they'll get it from someone else. But it's like, that's just horrible. Like, and I've, growing up, I have known some people who have worked on a certain side of the law, and I've heard various like excuses for why they do it. I've kind of like mostly I've just known weed dealers and stuff, or like they sold mushrooms on the side, but I have known some people who sold a little bit more hardcore stuff, and they were not good people. Like they're not.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
I guess I just imagine if I became a dealer, I would like try to at least do it ethically. Like even if I was like justifying selling it, I would still like. Well, that's want to like kill people. You know what I mean?
So I had one primary weed dealer from like before weed was legalized, and he also sold mushrooms, and occasionally he would sell acid, and that he was as close to what I could say would be like an ethical drug dealer, because he was like 100. Like for one, he was obviously a bit of a hippie. Because he's like, oh, it's like natural, or even LSD and stuff. He's like, okay, well, nobody's going to overdose. Like he was very concerned about quality and purity and all these things. And he's like, I would never give somebody something that I'm not willing to put in my own body. And I was like, that seems like a good, generally probably a good standard. Like if you're going to do something, if you're going to sell stuff to people, and it's like, okay, at least people can't overdose on these substances, like the ones that you're selling. And at least, but the thing is, the profit incentive is not nearly like you're making so much more money selling the hard shit, right? Like that's why it's appealing to drug dealers. Like you could fucking sell a pound of weed and you're getting like maybe I don't know what it runs for now, maybe 150 to like $180, or that'd be for like an ounce. I'm sure prices have fallen as well since it's been. I barely smoke weed anymore. But yeah, compared to like that same quantity of like Coke, right? Like you're probably making thousands of dollars off of it. So
yeah, well, this is the thing, and this is a bit of a derail, but well, we're already a little derailed. But that's the good thing about not saying I support them necessarily, but the like darknet market stuff, where it's like. There you do have incentives because people leave reviews, right? People can buy it and test the potency and then leave you like a 1-star review and be like, this stuff is like terrible and has fentanyl in it and this and that, right? And that'll directly like impact, who's going to buy it in the future. So I feel like on those markets, the dealers are incentivized to actually care about quality control.
Yeah, and like imagine it from and this is so I've gone to like raves and stuff, and like. I'm sure I've said this before. Whatever. I've dabbled. Nothing. I've never done anything like hardcore, but I've done like some of the party stuff, and like there is something to be said because even that stuff, like just talking of like MDMA, they do mix it with like amphetamine, and sometimes I'll mix it with caffeine and some other stimulants just to like. But you can imagine if you're out and you want to have a good time, or if you're fucking homeless and you're just like want to shoot up or something, if you look across from yourself, and you see somebody just like fucking out of it. You're like, man, they're having a great time. you're like, man, they're super fucked up. I want to be like fucked up like that, right? Like it's a twisted way to think about it, but like they're not thinking rationally like in that way. They're like they want to take it to like get fucked up. And so if they see somebody who's super fucked up, that's actually like an appealing thing. And then they're more like, hey, where'd you get the shit that you did? Seems like good. It's like so, right? Like it's counterintuitive. It's kind of
It's a crazy. It probably, I guess, depends on what you're seeking, but definitely with the stuff where you're like trying to get more passed out, like if you're using heroin or something like that, then presumably you're trying to numb a lot of stuff, or like the nodding off is kind of part of the goal, so
yeah, like there's so many stacking risks of just like either smoking or doing these things intravenously. Like, it's not that they don't care. It's just that people just think they either have more time, or it's like it's not going to happen to them, or they've just given up and they just don't care one way or the other. Like, it's
Right.
better.
I think if you're buying, like, especially nowadays or even like 10 years ago or whatever, whenever fentanyl became a thing, I think if you're buying street heroin, especially off people you don't trust and injecting it, I feel like there's got to be a large part of you that doesn't really care if you die, you know?
Yeah, which to me is heartbreaking, like on a very human level.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And I've had friends who have like suffered with addictions and stuff. Again, nothing too crazy, but like when you not even live a certain set, when you have a certain set of friends, right? Like you rub shoulders with a lot of different people in different walks of life, and so you hear some of these stories sometimes as well. I don't know why this randomly popped into my head. It's a little bit of a sob story, but I was pretty young. I must have been like out of high school, early 20s. I was in a park. It was like pitch black. There's like not really lights. So I decided to just like roll a joint while I'm at this bench. Weed is still illegal, but it's Vancouver. So it's like nobody really gives a fuck. But for whatever reason, I was in this park rolling a joint, and I see this fucking homeless dude on the other side of the park. And I'm a little sketched out. I'm just kind of like, oh, fuck. Okay. Hopefully he doesn't come over here. And because it was so dark, he ended up like walking kind of close to me, and he went under this like little awning next to this building. And when I moved, he noticed I was there. Like, he didn't even realize I was sitting at this bench or like wherever I was. And he's like, "Oh fuck, I didn't see you there." Blah, blah. And he's clearly just fucked up on something. And for some reason, I don't remember how. I think maybe because I was rolling a joint or I was smoking it, we just struck up a conversation. And he started giving me this story, which is the saddest story I'd ever heard. He seemed like he's probably middle aged, and he was talking about how he got addicted to drugs, and then his wife left him. And I was like, and what happened was his kid got hit by a car and died. And he's like, that's the point where my life just sort of like went downhill. And I remember just for some reason I was like picking his brain about certain things, and I asked him, I'm like, is there anything that you think would like make you stop doing drugs? And he's like, if I could have my daughter back. It was just like,
Jesus.
dude, it was one of the saddest moments, and it's always just stuck with me, because for all intents and purposes, he was even, I mean, take his word for it, but like he was fucked up, but he wasn't like, I guess, at his lowest where he had been, because he's like, all of this had happened within the last, I think, five years or something. So he's kind of recounting it, and he worked at some, like, he said he was like pretty high up. He was making like 6 figures and stuff, and yeah, and he's like, when the kid died, like the marriage kind of fell apart after that, because they couldn't really reconcile those feelings and all this shit. He's like saying how he doesn't blame his wife. Like, he seemed like a good guy, like on paper, but he's also just like the dredge of society now, right? So I think that experience gave me like a lot of perspective of like, even when I see the fucking crazy cracked out crackhead who smells like piss, like, yeah, I don't want to fucking talk to that guy or interact with them, or their hands are like filthy and they have dirt on it. They look fucking crazy. But at the same time, I do remember like they weren't always like that. Something happened to get them to that place in life. So I don't like this idea of just like, well, they chose to do drugs, so fuck them. Like, but anyway, that's my little.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think, yeah, I've talked to enough homeless junkies, because I'm probably like you in that way, where I will strike up conversations at the weirdest times. And yeah, the amount of stuff you hear enough stuff that it's like everyone's got a fucking story of some like horrific shit, you know, that's just like that. You're like, okay, well, I understand. I get it, you know.
Here's my like right-wing take, which is unpopular. I honestly do think that there are some people that are past the point of no return. I think there are some people who have either lived that way for too long, or have experienced too much, or have created too much damage within their body and their brain that there is no type of intervention that can bring them back. Which, yeah, I didn't mean to come on and be like super downer, because this feels like a very depressing topic, but I do, and I will say, I think that's a very tiny portion of people, but I do accept, I think that like there probably are some people who, unfortunately, you just can never reach.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably true, especially if you like, there's certain drugs that are like huffing gas or inhalants, right? Is one of those things that like every time you're doing it, you're like actively destroying brain cells. So it's like, if you meet someone that's done that for like 30 years, it's like, yeah, their brain is like so fried.
Yeah, because you're actually cutting off oxygen directly to your brain, and you're causing like brain damage directly.
Yeah, and a lot of these things to inhale them are like neurotoxic in and of themselves, even like apart from the oxygen deprivation. And so, yeah, if you're using something that's neurotoxic for like decades, it's like your mind's just going to be mush at some point. You know, yeah, Vibe Killer Johnson.
Yeah, my bad. my bad, guys. But well, how does that tie in? Or are you guys just completely derailed? Is that anything to do with the debate, or?
Well, the debate is
And the
about
bar
Narcan,
fight.
so I mean, it's at least related, you know, because we're talking about the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is for and against again? I can't remember.
So AVG has the based perspective that that Narcan should be available to people, and Witchy thinks that it shouldn't be. So I was trying to guess what her arguments could be instead of, because I'm retarded, instead of just watching her say her arguments. Because I'm trying to think of what would be a good argument. So
I can't think of many good arguments not to make it available. Like I can't. I don't even know if I can think of.
the only thing, my steel man is what I said. I don't know if I think you were at least in the chat last time.
I
that
think that as well. It's like if people wanted to push the envelope
Yeah.
or whatever, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and like, but I don't. Again, I think the empirics don't really match with that. But that would be the only thing. Otherwise, but I know she was like pro eugenics or something. So I wonder if she's gonna take like the black pill to just like let the junkies die. They're like worse for society. So I'm waiting to see like which direction she goes.
Let the animals wipe each other out. You know, it's the law of the jungle or whatever.
If Kirk was here, he'd be like, "But conflict, you like Nietzsche," and I feel like Nietzsche would be in support of that idea. So why aren't you in support of that idea?
Play a little bleeding heart. But the fact of the matter is we have no real numbers on what happens with Narcan that's self-administered because, well, there's no record. We hand it out, but we can't really. I mean, there's some self-reporting surveys.
See, I don't know if that's a misspeak. Like,
Yeah, they could be boosting it.
well, but like you usually don't if you're like at the point of overdose, you're probably not gonna be able to self-administer it generally. Does she just mean like junkies giving it to each other? Because I feel like there is data on that. Or does she actually mean does she speaking precisely and she means like self-administering? Because there's probably no data on that. I think there is data on like you can look at areas where Narcan's handed out and track overdose deaths, and I don't know.
But they're not very clear. But the statistics are very clear on Narcan that's administered medically. And one of the most important things to know about Narcan that's administered medically or otherwise.
Yeah, Brandon, Witchy thinks it should only be administered by. So medical professionals shouldn't be able to hand it out. Witchy thinks that it should only be, they should have it, like the EMS should have it, and that's it. Like, it shouldn't be that they give it to people that they can like use it on each other.
I know already that they're not going to get into like the pharmacokinetics or like the mechanisms or like any of that type of shit, because I feel like that would be like an understandable stance if it was like something that you could like, maybe for an argument for like why they don't allow like T3s, like Tylenol 3s, like maybe that, like codeine or something, right? I understand, like, yeah, maybe giving people access to self-administered codeine or something, because there is that like danger that you could die. There's just no, I don't understand how you're saying this. Like, Narcan is such an easy thing to administer, and you can't overdose on it. Like, I don't even know where the danger comes in that she's describing.
This is what I was saying. The only danger is either that you're going to use more, or literally just it's pointy. That's the only other danger. It is technically a needle, like an EpiPen, and you could get poked by it.
Maybe do it like incorrectly. Yeah, you could have like it would be like an EpiPen. You could have it like an auto injector essentially, and it would just take all the guesswork out of it. You know,
that's what it is. That's what Narcan is. Like when it's either intranasal in a spray or it's an auto injector. Like that's what it is. So it's like, yeah, you're taking all the guesswork out of it. You just load the little vial and you just fucking do it. Yeah, I wonder if she's doing it. I would be sad if she's doing what Kirk had done, because at least Kirk was running off the fly. Where after like 20 minutes of debating with him, I realized that he thought Narcan was a substance you can get high off of. He thought it was an opioid replacement. Yeah. So hopefully, Witchy, that would be crazy if you did a debate and you think that you could actually, get hooked on Narcan or something.
I don't know if AVG will counter with that, but that's where my head went. I would be like, I can't understand why that would be your starting position, that you think it should be only be done by medical professionals.
Y'all
Yeah.
need to let my girl Witchy cook. She's
Yeah, my
cooking
bad.
something up. You just need to let her cook it.
Okay.
Is
my
it
bad.
only about a 60 to 90 minute window of improvement before other medical care is most likely going to be necessary? And so in order for Narcan to truly be successful,
God, I don't want to have to I'm not going to pause this often. I'm sorry, but that's such bullshit too. Because first of all, if it's an opioid with a short half-life, the Narcan can be long enough. If it's not, all you need is another dose of Narcan. You could just keep Narcanning somebody, and it's not like the opioids last forever. If you have a bunch of Narcan, you could just you never need a medical professional, and that you should call one, obviously. But it's not like what she's saying isn't even true. You could literally just keep using Narcan. 'Cause that's what if they find you, they'll give you a shot of Narcan. If you don't wake up, they'll give you a second shot. And if 30 minutes later you pass out, they'll give you another shot of Narcan. That's literally what medical professionals do.
Yeah,
so I
as
don't
long as
understand why junkies couldn't do the same thing.
Yeah, as long as your heart is like able to circulate your blood to like distribute the medication, then it will work. If your heart's completely stopped, then yeah, injecting somebody with something,
Right.
like, wouldn't do
Is
anything.
there a level of Narcan that's dangerous?
To my
Like
knowledge,
theoretically?
I think
Yeah, like I don't
it
know.
makes you feel like shit. It does-
Yeah, maybe if there was like if you stab someone like 100 with 100 like is there some level where in the same way that like water can kill you if you like drink too much, like
Yeah.
maybe, but not in any like normal amount.
because
Like, what if I just keep stabbing him with Narcan, even though he's fine and dandy, and I just keep stabbing him? Will he die?
what
Maybe
I'm-
from blood loss from the stabs.
what I'm seeing, it can cause like nausea, vomiting, like pain and cramping. I know it causes like muscle aches and whatnot. So the side effects are not pleasant. It doesn't make you feel good. But from what I'm seeing, at least AI slop, whatever. But from what I'm seeing, it's like in a practical sense, you can't overdose on it.
Well,
It's
it causes, just for you guys might know this, but for the sake of everyone watching, it causes what's called precipitated withdrawal, right? Because it's taking all the opioids that are attached, and it's so you get muscle cramps, pain, nausea, like everything you get from opiate withdrawal, you get that all at once because all the opioids that you're probably very much dependent on are now like just completely knocked out of your system, and so it's very,
I believe
presumably unpleasant experience, but
I think what it does is it like kicks out the opioids from the receptors and like binds to them, so it like doesn't allow the opioids to take effect. So it's like because even with junkies and stuff, I guess they need a dose every like 8 to 24 hours or something. So imagine they go from like 100, where their last thing they remember is they're tripping balls, and now they're like just not even stone cold sober, but like effectively all of it is out of their system at once. Like they're not going to feel good. Like it's not going to be a good time.
I knew a guy once and he said this was like, he swore by this, but looking it up after he told me, I don't think he helped himself at all. He was trying to kick like a pain pill habit. And he said that in his opinion, what he did was he just injected himself with Narcan to like get the withdrawals over faster. Which in theory sounds like it would work, but then when I looked it up, apparently it doesn't work. You just immediately hit withdrawal with like hit the ground running, and it just keeps going for the same amount of time.
Yeah, it'd be like all the worst parts and none of the benefits. Yeah, you can't even take them off or anything.
Yeah, so he's like, no, this works, and I was like, I didn't have the heart once I found out to tell him, I don't think you did yourself a favor. I think you just made it way worse. I mean, this is true. Yes, like if you're let's say overdosing from fentanyl and like benzodiazepines, it's not going to do anything for the benzos. If those are enough to like kill you, then you're going to be, but it's not going to harm you. It's just not going to fix whatever else is like causing respiratory depression or whatever. Also, good to see you, Alice.
Well, even if it's administered without a professional, you need medical treatment pretty quickly afterward. And it's shown that people who are medically revived with Narcan, within a year, 10 to 12% of them are reported passed away from OD anyway.
Wow, I'm shocked. People who have already overdosed are more likely to overdose again. Wow, what an amazing revolutionary fact she just gave me.
That's a strong argument.
Like I said, we don't really have much numbers.
Yeah.
There's an apathy that's growing in our
Yeah, they do. You're
EMS
supposed to use it and
services,
immediately call 911.
especially
Good to
here
see
in the
you.
United States. I have some quotes we can talk about later where EMS are saying that they've Narcaned some people 12, 15 times, and most of the time the result is they're angry because you
Yeah, we don't want them
and
angry.
now it's going to take.
Of course they're angry. They're in full withdrawal, like we just talked about. That's the unfortunate thing. That's just the reality, though. They're gonna think a lot of times they don't even know what happened. They wake up and they think you just fucked up their high. They thought they were fine and just fucking nodding off. They don't realize they're fucking gray and dying. You know.
And this is also a known phenomenon. And like I have an anecdotal story, but what she's saying, there is probably some like evidence of this, but because it doesn't allow the opioids to bind to the receptors, and because they're withdrawing immediately, usually, or not, maybe not usually, but often what happens is as soon as the EMS or the emergency workers leave,
They'll just use more.
And the thing is, the drug it's still in their system, so
Right.
they're it's like teetering on the edge of a knife or something. Like they are far more prone to overdosing again, like immediately, because they haven't flushed the drugs out of their system. It's still competing for the Narcan. So if they overpower the Narcan again, they just instantly overdose. And so it is fairly common for there to be like multiple calls out to the same people in a night. And the strongest argument I've heard is like, well, it is kind of a waste of resources, right? Like if your dad or your uncle, whoever is having a heart attack, that could be the difference, right? Between like, oh, they have to go save this junkie. They don't have the resources available to go like save somebody else. So it is a burden on the system in that way. So what she's saying, I don't know about the 12, 15 times.
It is Ibogaine. Alice, sorry.
I remember Ibogaine. I want to try that one day.
Yeah, also known as Iboga, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, just small little point. It is more common to overdose or for repeat calls, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that can be fixed. I mean, I guess you don't want to waste too much time, but I feel like if you, I don't know what the normal protocol is, but you think if you were getting called, you don't Narcan them and then just walk away right away, right? Like I understand that's resources to stay with the person or like administer them or admit them into a hospital, but I feel like
we're fucking up.
Oh shit!
Being a little too judgy, maybe.
Yeah, maybe I'm being a little too saucy. 40 minutes and you haven't even gotten through the affirmative opening. I thought I'd watch, but I'll be in bed before you even.
Hey, I told you my girl Witchy's got it.
This might be your first time.
You
here,
said more about what I might say than I actually said the whole time. I mean, that's true. Look, we're only 5 minutes into it. Okay,
Let her cook.
I'll let you cook, Witchy. Okay, I'll let you cook.
More for them to get
I'm not trying
high.
to do you like that.
And those
I'm
people
sorry.
are even more likely to overdose more often because they keep needing more to get their high back once they're released after the Narcan has been given.
Basically what I said. Yeah. Fair point, Witchy.
The drug treatment programs put out statistics all the time that voluntary enrollment is typically requirement for success in their programs. So going through the courts and forcing people into treatment isn't working. Handing them Narcan to use by themselves isn't working. And I really think that in order for Narcan to be a successful treatment, it needs to be administered by people who know what they're doing and how to give the medical treatment necessary afterwards. I also think that there should probably be a limit on Narcan. I don't think we should have people in our society
at least a 75 per person limit
times Narcan by the same EMS to the point where they know each other by name. I think that there comes a point where if people aren't going to get,
not to pause it there, but I guess that's not really a critique of administering Narcan between junkies, right? If that EMT thing is going to happen, even if it's only done by medical professionals, right? Like that resource argument is going to apply in every case, right? Even if Narcan was only allowed to be administered by EMTs or doctors and stuff, right? That's still going to happen. I guess I'm waiting to see if there is an argument, because so far it just seems like it doesn't work as good as we want it to work. But at least there hasn't been like any like let the junkies die arguments. But I'm just wondering if there's going to be, an actual argument on why we should have it be administered only by medical professionals, as opposed to just like, maybe it's not the most effective thing, but it's obviously preventing people from overdosing, even if it's not as many as we'd like.
Help that's available to them. We need to stop having a savior complex and pulling them back to a quality of life they obviously aren't happy with, since they're self-medicating so much that they OD on a regular basis. And I think that the biggest thing that I need to prove here, and I have a lot of statistics we can bring up later during the discussion, is that what's happening right now isn't working. It's not lowering the overdose rates. It's not taking away from the losses due to accidental overdose by high enough numbers to be worth handing it out the way it is. And it's not cheap. I didn't get into that yet, but I've got some numbers back there about the cost that's happening and a lot of fraud that's associated with that cost.
So that's even okay, so that's even outside the debate prompt. You're saying that, okay, maybe I missed that. So you're actually arguing that not only should it not be handed out to people, but you're saying the EMT should actually just let them die if they're called.
Also,
that's a crazier claim than I thought you were making, but
also, to my knowledge, it's extremely cheap to produce. So I don't know if this is a U.S. healthcare thing where it's like insulin, where it's like dirt cheap to produce, but it becomes prohibitively expensive once it's in the system. But the actual manufacturing of the drug knowledge is pretty cheap.
The only thing I could just think is maybe the sheer amounts, because they do hand it out to everyone. And so maybe if you look at like total numbers, it's probably a big number.
Right.
Cost per
like
unit is very low.
Right. Okay.
You know?
Fair enough. Yeah. If you're looking maybe at like it's being subsidized in that way, then it's like you could view it as like a consistent loss or something. So fair enough.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm sure she'll get into it. Yeah.
Before Paige makes her opening, remember, this woman won't pray with you, Confluence.
Oh, that's
so
true.
Add that on top of her argument and see where it lies.
Yeah, don't be fooled.
That changes things now.
So with
hey,
that,
Chatter.
I cede my time, and hopefully AVG's got her tech stuff figured out over there, so she can be ready to respond.
Awesome. Yeah, you went really short. Thank you very much. While I'm resetting my timer, I need to say to Spin City, you said for $500, you asked me how much to make Snafu disappear. I said $500. You said I could make that happen. And then you expect me to censor my audience when you, sir, have not met your side of things. Stop acting like a diva and grow the fuck up already.
Oh boy, that's drama.
Oh my dopamine. I'm gonna need some Narcan. I'm getting so fucking
You want to do the housekeeping. We're all ladies.
I don't like what people say in your chat. I'm not coming on your panel. Well, you said you would pay me to get rid of them, and you still haven't. What do you want, dude? So, hey, if it's not worth it to you, why should it be worth it to me?
Talking about AVG?
Okay. So, sorry about that.
I think the more Christian she gets, the less likely she's going to be to pray with me.
Right.
It's going in the reverse direction,
Today's
brother.
debate will require you, the audience, to contend with a series of controversial questions. Is the opioid problem in North America sustainable with our current tools? Is naloxone helping this problem? Is naloxone something we should be making available to the general public? I hope to settle your minds on these issues with my arguments today. Opioid usage affects over 9 million Americans every year, according to the National Center for Drug Abuse Statistics. We know this is a problem, not only because of these figures, but because in 2017, the White House declared the national opioid crisis a nationwide public health emergency. Naloxone, also known as Narcan, was invented in 1961 by Dr. Jack Fishman and Dr. Moses J. Lewinstein. The distribution of naloxone to the general public began in 1996 in Chicago and today occurs in many states and provinces. When administered, it prevents 93.5% of overdoses. This is life-saving medication, and it's available in both an inhalant and an injectable format. When the first format is administered, no formal training or medical skills are required, although free training courses are available through government sites. Narcan is highly portable, usually stocked free of charge at pharmacies, government buildings, and sites, and is currently the most accessible and efficient medication to use when someone is experiencing an opioid overdose.
Taste.
It is literally their only chance at living, at even making it to a hospital to seek the attention of a medical
Diane's
professional
cooking,
for
big
further
soda. I don't know
treatment,
what to tell you.
because overdoses lead to death so quickly after onset. Without a person who has misused an opioid even once, even by accident, would die on the streets, at a party, or in their own living room very easily once the fatal amount of opioids enters their bloodstream. My opponent's position would indicate that opioid addicts are lost causes, but opioid addicts...
I agree with you, Witchy. Fuck compassion. Let them all die, right? Am I right? Even the EMT. Don't bring them back. Just let them die.
are worth saving. 1.2 million
Let the EMT die
into the
too.
NIH have recovered
fucking
from
kill 'em
opioid
all.
addiction. They are real humans with the potential to lead healthy lives, not lost causes. The true question here is whether making Narcan only available to be possessed by and administered by medical professionals will improve society. And the only feasible way I can see my opponent succeeding in establishing this is if she convinces you that opioid users are unredeemable, lesser humans that society ought pass on. That, ladies and gentlemen, would be an evil thought and not one any reasonable or moral person
Taste.
would condone.
Fucking
And with that, I yield my
red-pilled.
time.
Damn.
Paige thoughts just look more well collected.
Ladies jumping straight
Yeah.
to everything.
The only criticism I'll
I'm
say
sorry
is
for yelling before you started your.
Is what?
Paige seems a little too pleased, or she's not going by that anymore. Diane, I think, is what we started. She seemed a little too pleased with herself.
I'm pleased with herself. She should be pleased with herself.
I was
Good
happy with
job.
the argumentation. I'm just saying, she's a little bit too happy with how.
Should be.
Well, all right, I'm trying to be fair and balanced here. Okay.
I'm Diane pilled right now. Okay.
It's how Kirk felt about immigration.
It's amazing. All right. I am going to go ahead and set the timer for 1 hour. If you ladies need to share anything, just say so. I'll be watching. I can either share your, sharing your screen will probably go faster than me pulling it up. But if you need me to pull it up, I can.
Yeah, this would be that would be like a contentious debate that I'm not even really sure what side of the coin I land on, to be honest with that, because I hate methadone, but obviously some people use it and get off and stuff. So
Just let me know
Narcan,
what you'd
I
like
feel like
to
is
do.
a
Pick your poison as you need
pretty
to.
easy one,
And,
I would think.
I shall be back here in the shadows, hiding in the bushes.
Wait. Before you start the timer, I have a little bit of housekeeping. Did Den's stream get cut off from
No,
the restream? Okay, I got a
I
message
see.
that it was.
No, there's all types of drama going on.
AVG.
Good lord.
Do you want to
Jeez.
restream or are you restreaming on your own?
OBS.
Oh, okay.
I'm an OBS
Perfect.
girl
The
now.
same Ruby that like got
Yeah,
attacked
no,
by
Den is
by
totally
Grace Thorpe. Is it?
Oh, you mean
Is it
Ruby
on this
attacked
side.
them?
I
Yeah,
see
Ruby's
both of them.
But that is the same Ruby. What the fuck?
Yeah, Ruby has
Have you-
attacked a number of people over the years.
I don't think I've
having said
met
that,
Ruby.
I like Ruby, dude. They're funny, but they also are insane, for lack of a better.
They seem insane from the videos.
Yeah.
But I mean, all those people. I met Lalo. I had the displeasure of meeting Lalo. Speaking of the IRL people,
Lalo's a sociopath. Grace actually accused him of like SA, and then now apparently they're buddies again. So, just
oh jeez, yeah.
yeah.
He is. I mean, yeah, he's been on panel a few times, and I just don't like that guy at all, man.
Very performative.
And
Yeah.
they both got the
Yeah.
green check marks, so I'm not sure what's going on. Also, ladies and gentlemen, while we're taking this minute, please do remember to support the channel, drop a tip.
I mean, I agree.
I clearly
but
deal with
here's the
all
case
kinds of hoopla.
There are too many women on
Hosting
panel.
debates like these.
What?
Spin City,
I'm an
you
ally.
especially
We're passing the
can
fucking
send
Bechdel
me
test tonight, boys. Holy shit.
$650 to get rid of Snafu. Okay, because that's how it's going to work now. Is I'm going to increase it.
Who the fuck is this
each
Snafu
week.
guy?
If he's that important
Beth, stop
to you,
derailing. I derail
fine.
enough when I'm reacting to this shit.
Otherwise,
Okay.
seriously, sending me messages saying I can't come on your panel. Say thank you to Snafu, dude. Stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. See the women laughing at you right now. It's
I'm not
embarrassing.
laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm just
Spin City is
laughing at my chat.
kind of a
It's just
professional
completely
idiot.
unrelated to the.
Every time I've seen him speak.
I don't know what you're talking about, Beth.
Is that who she's talking to?
I think so. She said
So
Spin
cute.
City.
Bless his heart. My channel's gonna fail without him coming on the panel. Damn.
He says it's likely on his end then, so proceed.
Yeah, I don't know who the
Alright,
snafu person is.
Denison,
never
if
heard
you
that
need to disconnect and reconnect, just whatever, I'll be backstage. All right.
Okay. So, Witchy, you made a statement that seemed to indicate something. You said that naloxone isn't helping the current problem. Are there other methods that you're aware of that are less than a cost of $1 per taxpayer a year to supply the entire country with naloxone? Is that something that you are privy to and I'm not?
Pretty affordable.
The problem isn't that naloxone
Yeah, but yeah,
isn't
some people using
working
like
when administered correctly
$700 worth of it.
revive people. It's that you're saying
fucking
$1
goofing
per
that
year
shit.
per taxpayer
They're
for
addicted to it.
1% of the population. Everybody else has got to pay that price.
Oh wow!
And to be
Let's save the $1 so we can have a bunch of people dying and probably overloading the healthcare system in more ways anyway.
Wait.
That's the other thing, because like if you have enough respiratory depression, you go hypoxic. You can end up in like a long-term care facility from being hypoxic too long. One person, if that happens to one person out of like 1 million people, that's going to cost the government like some insane amounts of money, like probably $1 million. If that happens to one person, that would be like $1 million for every one person that it fucking happens to.
Also, but to her point, like if she's saying like, yeah, it's 1% of the population that we're spending all this money on, like, I mean, I'll say the same thing for trans people. I mean, they're only 1% of the population, so I guess just just let them live their lives. Sorry, I shoehorn that in there.
you're trying to derail me even more.
I think the biggest argument against her is why don't we just mass produce it and just quit sending EMT to this type of events, and so we'd be saving on the EMT trips by just
That's a
mass
good point,
producing
actually.
Narcan.
Yeah, like the fact we've handed it out. Yeah, wouldn't that probably decrease the burden on the EMT? Because now if everyone has Narcan, then it's like you're gonna have to call the EMT less often to administer it. Like, I don't even think the financial, especially because it's so cheap, and the cost of one EMT trip is probably like so much. If one junkie does it for every like 100 overdoses, that probably makes it already fair. Like that type of ratio would already, more than that. If one out of every 1,000 self-administers instead of calling EMT, because EMT, right? How much would an ambulance be with like,
like 100,000
say an hour, 2 hours? Like and if Narcan is like so cheap, which it is. Like, yeah, you were literally talking like if this happened one of like probably
or at least tens of thousands.
Yeah, this just like I don't know. So I don't think the financial aspect is good. Probably the strongest argument is probably what Witchy was saying in the chat, but she hasn't really gone into it too much in the debate. It's just like let all these people die, fuck them, because at least that's like, even though I think that's like the most evil argument, it's at least the hardest to like debate against, because now you're just in a moral quandary of like, oh, maybe you should just let them die, like to take that calloused attitude. Because the financial aspect, the empirics of it, I think those are all just like demonstrably like bad arguments. Like I don't think the stats bear that out. I think the financial one especially, but also just like the lowering overdose rates. I don't think any of those are good arguments. The best argument is just like these people, we don't want them in society. They're draining society. They cause other crimes. Just let them die. Which again is like I think that's a very unethical argument, but it's probably the strongest argument, low key. Good to see you, young Raven, paramedic EMS worker. I'm not enjoying the stream. Are you enjoying at least what I am saying? Okay. Are you enjoying what I am saying? Or do you not like what they're saying? Be more specific, young Raven.
Realistic, that's actually probably not very accurate either, because most people who are labeled as taxpayers aren't taxpayers, especially in the United States, because they get tax taken from their checks like everyone else, but they get as much as was taken or more with refundable credits refunded back to them. And so in those studies, those people will still be counted as taxpayers because they file a tax return. But they're not technically taxpayers. So you're really looking at a higher cost to each minimum wage or minimum wage, lower cost to each minimum wage family, and a higher cost to each.
Do most homeless people file taxes?
No, absolutely.
It's probably like two of them.
I don't want to like straw man her. Is that what she was saying? Or
I was wondering that too. I don't know.
Go back like 20 seconds. I don't want to be like
middle class others. As much as was taken or more with refundable credits refunded back to them. And so in those studies, those people will still be counted as taxpayers because they file.
Wait, is she just talking about poor people, maybe?
Most people who are labeled as taxpayers aren't taxpayers, especially in the United States, because they get tax taken from their checks like everyone else, but they get...
Okay, so I think she's talking about low-income people.
Okay. Fair enough.
as much as was taken or more with refundable credits refunded back to them. And so in those studies, those people will still be counted as tax.
What is Raven? I'll rip your freaking non-existent balls off. What am I saying that's slightly misinformed? Don't at me like that. Tell me where I'm misinformed, young Raven.
Wow, you're just like flying off the handle just from the.
Yeah, I am flying off. Slightly misinformed? How fucking dare you, young Raven? How fucking dare you?
File tax return.
It's only slightly.
They're not technically taxpayers, so you're really looking at a higher cost to each minimum wage or minimum wage. A lower cost to each minimum wage family and a higher cost to each middle class family than that. So that's kind of misleading. And more importantly,
the point was it's more than $1 per taxpayer. That's sure. Well, I mean, it's $1 per. I guess I guess, but I mean that's. I don't know. There's so many directions to go with that because like most people, even if they pay taxes, right, they're still not net providers to the system, even despite refundable credits. But that amount, I think, is set at like 150K. I think you have to be making like 150K gross income to be a net contributor. So like everyone else is a taker definitionally already. So
yeah, exactly. You're like it's a progressive tax system. So and I think the threshold probably is it's like with 100K, 150K in the States. So most people you could say quote unquote don't pay taxes like in that regard. Yeah.
This is a non-free stream No, it absolutely isn't. It absolutely is not. Everything will be ripped. Everything will be consumed.
Bad or horrible people, as you phrased it, and it's not even the cost that is incurred because the numbers are pretty.
Try to keep up, Denizen. Sorry, I'm in a fighting mood today. I know what she's talking about. Obviously we have tax credits, we have tax rebates in Canada too. Okay, I've lived in both countries. Okay, so shut the fuck up. But that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is that people, you're still a taker, even if you think you're paying and you're like, oh my God, the government's taking 20K in taxes this year from me. You're still a net taker until you make over that 100 to 150K threshold, or whatever they calculate it as, because most tax, because you have to pay to support normal things, right? Like your taxes go to support a lot of stuff, right? And so until you're actually giving back, most taxes are paid by the wealthy people, obviously, right? So there's some threshold that's a lot higher than you would think. So even if you're technically a taxpayer, you're not really like paying taxes, you could make the argument.
High on how much we've spent on that in a lot of states. The question is, what's the point?
Yeah, that's why we went back.
Seeing them take that, getting off of naloxone and moving forward into rehabilitation.
Okay.
And the numbers show that people who are taking it in a controlled environment are more likely to be directed to the kind of help that stops them from just doing it again next week.
You're gish galloping. So you completely avoided the first part of my question. I'm sure you have a bunch of questions about the taxation element. I'm more than happy to get into that. But before we do, can you please answer my question?
Mask off,
do you have a better solution other than naloxone?
No, I just want it administered by the health professionals, not the.
But you're lying now. If this is what you're building to, then you're fucking lying when you say, I want it administered, because you just said you want the EMS to let them fucking die. You said this in the chat, and now you're saying I say it in the debate in no uncertain terms. So why are you like slow pedaling it right now? Why are you saying, no, I just want it administered? You don't want it administered by anybody, is what you're saying to me now, unless I'm misunderstanding you. But you're saying just let them expire. So you're directly contradicting that at this moment it's debate. So either you're bad faith in the debate, or you've changed your mind, or you're soft pedaling it. I don't know which one it is.
General public.
I thought so. Okay,
great. It'd be hard pedaling.
Let's talk about that $1, right? Do you think that an individual would contribute more to society than $1 in their lifetime?
You did. You just said this earlier. You said, am I retarded, or are you gaslighting me? I feel like I can like go back and pull up the chat. You said that the EMS should stop coming, that they should not administer the Narcan. Am I crazy?
I remember you making a comment about her comment about it.
Also, AVG is bringing up a good point here about the what was it? If you versus $1.
Wait, this, yeah. I literally just said stop bringing them back. What would that? Are you not talking about the EMS there? Who are you talking about? I mean, I responded to this, and you didn't say anything. Maybe I misunderstood what you're saying, but sorry, Tess, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
No, AVG was just starting a good point here. As well as, but no, do your thing. So it's all good.
Well, I guess Witchy can clarify. Okay, if I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, are you saying just let them all expire? Like you just also said, you said you'll get your fund faster if you let me get if you let it get to me just saying just let them expire in no uncertain terms, but now you're saying not EMS let people die? Question. So which one? Do you want the EMS to save them? Just, I guess, answer clearly so at least I know what you're getting at. Do you want the EMS to save them or do not?
They're saved.
Okay, so you're talking about saved individuals, which really throws a weird aspect
AVG
into
is
this
saying
because
if
I
the
didn't think
$1
we were going into the moral
contributes more kind of thing.
Right.
Christian
No, I mean
viewpoint
it prevents the overdose. It prevents 93.5% of
of it. If they're
overdose.
saved from dying, if they're
They live.
resuscitated from dying.
Okay.
Correct.
If you were correct,
I would
in
love
your
to,
number
Witchy. I'd
being
fucking love to.
$1
Me with a good
for
time.
that dose of naloxone, yeah, it's probably worth
Oh.
it.
You
If
want,
they're
you want
saved,
that? You want
if
that name brand
they
shit?
are going
Okay,
to go
Brandon.
on and become a productive member of society. If they're going to continue to be the guy in the fent bins on the street waiting for his next dose of naloxone, no.
I feel like
Did you maybe I can get Beth to pull this up? Did you
A
read
rough
the
argument,
study
Witchy.
that was done with respect to the potential for recovery for opioid addicts that I quoted from the NIH? It's called Recovery from Opioid Problems in the U.S. Population.
I did. Is there specific something you wanted to reference from it?
Yeah, the recovery members are actually better than you would think in terms of numbers. Considering the amount of people that actually use it, the amount that actually do recover is pretty impressive. And,
Go away,
and one
Beth.
thing to keep in mind
This is
when we're talking
interrupting to talk about
opioids is that
snafu again.
it does literally change the way that the brain chemistry works. It does this for years, right? It's not like alcohol where it's necessarily easier to quit. I mean, I'm sure everybody on this panel has seen.
Yeah, if
the
you're down to do an
devastating
interview on a
effects,
different
right,
day,
of the
Witchy, absolutely.
OxyContin crisis and how that was originally
Absolutely.
marketed as safe, and that was prescription medication, right? You need to keep in mind too that not everybody who needs naloxone is needing naloxone because they're street using heroin.
Ooh,
Right,
Beth,
they could be
Beth,
on a
got
completely
guilty.
legal opioid prescription,
Yeah, go away,
and it
Beth.
could just be prescribed wrong or utilized with other methods, and then that person's going to die. And they're not a junkie; they're just somebody that needed pain medication because they had a life-altering, physical ailment or mental ailment, right?
Well, if we didn't have medical professionals so busy dealing with what's going on currently with this crisis of people ODing.
Yeah, it's almost like that if we hand out Narcan to more people, the medical professionals would have to be called less often if you think about it.
Over and over and over again.
Does that
person
not
would get
go
the
against your
treatment they
whole
needed
argument,
anyway,
Witchy?
because
I know
our
you're saying
system wouldn't-
we'll do an interview later, but I feel like that goes against your argument. If you're saying that these people are wasting their time, okay, it's just a weird prompt then. It sounds like you're just anti-Narcan in general, because what you're arguing right now is that it would actually be a worse situation if it's only allowed to be administered by healthcare professionals, because that would overtax the system more. I don't understand.
be so overtaxed. Are you aware that in the number of opioid addicts has increased
think we should train
dramatically
drug dealers.
since the release
Be
of
persistent.
naloxone handed out freely in the public? Are you aware that
Oh my God. I'm sorry to pause, but the correlation is not causation. Which one do you think came first? Which one? Obviously, they're doing Narcan because the opiate overdoses are going through the roof and the epidemic is blowing up. It's not, the causal link is not the other way around. It's not like they hand out Narcan and then all of a sudden people are like, oh shit, let's all use fucking heroin because now we got this Narcan. So random people are like, you know what? I'm going to try opioids now. I feel like you're putting a cart before the horse there a little bit.
the number of ODs has still increased?
I would be curious to see how you link that to naloxone, other than the fact that naloxone has been available since then. Do you have any statistics that would draw a direct correlation between the two, or is it just because society is, experiencing a drug use crisis and opioids are more prescribed now than ever?
Yeah, no, this would just be an interview.
My point is using these drugs to supposedly help these people to recover. Not many of them are actually recovering if their numbers are rising while the ODs are also rising. So that means that more people are actually still becoming addicted and not getting off of drugs, and more people are dying from the drugs since we supposedly put out this life-saving measure to the public. I think it kind of like your argument about birth control encouraging women to act out. I think naloxone in the pocket of every junkie encourages them to not care if they OD because their buddy's going to give them some of that.
Now that's what I started this with by saying that is the strongest deal, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't knock the argument that I think is the strongest steel man. I think that's the only to say other people are going to get addicted. I think that's the crazy part. But yeah, it's at least theoretically makes sense that could happen. That yeah, if you give what people see as a panacea to all their ODing woes, that maybe they're gonna Opa Max closer to the sun because they think that they can like get away with it and not fucking die. That's conceivable. That's conceivable.
And they're just going to hit it just as hard again tomorrow.
So did you read my study on, it was from the University of Minnesota. It's about the greater availability of naloxone and the increases in witness overdoses can reduce opioid-related deaths, because those statistics disagree with it. Specifically, they say that a supply-based approach could reduce overdose deaths by about 6.3%, and a demand-based approach for naloxone could achieve an 8.8% reduction. So that
shit.
could
Okay, Tampa, this is. I was wondering if this is true because I'd never heard of this. So Tampa's saying in Florida that you automatically do get a Narcan script if you get prescribed painkillers. I've never heard of this before.
Directly in the face.
Could, but the numbers actually show that it hasn't. In
What numbers?
2017, we started in the US, we started handing it out on the street corners. Everybody's got it. My daughter went to a surgery, and when they gave her pain medications, we were sent home with it. In fact, we couldn't leave the building because they were out of it and had to have some shipped over from another pharmacy in order for her to get her pain medication after her surgery. That's an anecdotal thing, but I'm just saying it's.
See, I don't know if that's super necessary. Like if someone's just going through a surgery and they're handed fucking hydromorphone or something, and you're like feel the need to have a law saying they have to be given Narcan. I think that's maybe a little excessive. Should be available. Try to give it to junkies.
I would
To be
agree.
fair, it's cheap. It's cheap enough. I mean, it could probably
Yeah.
be justified too.
And I would be, yeah, like I would agree that maybe that's like if you get your wisdom teeth taken out or something, they give you whatever. Like, yeah, maybe that's a bit overkill. But like, I'm also okay with the idea of it being more normalized, which is a sad but true fact. But it's like because there is such an issue with it, I'm kind of okay normalizing naloxone just being available in that way, so people know it's an option, right?
Right. I guess having, from what Witchy's saying, having that you can't leave the hospital until you're given it. I get maybe if you're a chronic pain patient, so you're like you have a refillable script for like a heavy opioid, then at least that kind of makes. But like to think that you get into you have just like a one-time surgery, you get given like 10 non-refillable pills of like oxycodone. You probably don't need the Narcan. But as Big Soda's saying, it's so cheap that I don't know if it really makes a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
And I mean, this is true. Yeah, if you're opioid naive, then if you take even a few oxys, if they're big enough, not the cat, but like the oxy, like codone or morphone, then it's like a few of them can fucking kill you.
And also, a lot of people, I'm still amazed at this. They're not aware of like the simplest interactions, but like if you were to even have like a low dose something of codeine, and you could be sensitive to opiates to begin with, but if you have like a single beer, like you could be in danger, like the cumulative like depressive effects of that. And a lot of people, like alcohol is also something that's so normalized, like, or people just think like it's not going to hit me that hard, but like, yeah, it would be very easy to, these things do have like inherent risks to them. So I guess theoretically, if you're making it safer or you're being over safe, I would prefer that versus the alternative.
Yeah. And I mean, people don't know the contraindications or they underestimate them. I mean, I knew as in met them once, but it was like a girlfriend of a friend I had that overdosed and died from an Oxy 120 and a Xanax. And it's like either of those things would never like kill someone on their own. Like that's Oxy 120 is like a normal pill that they give or whatever, right? Or Oxy 80 or whatever the max is. But because it was combined with the Xanax, they fucking died from it, which is like fucking horrifying.
I had I've never really fucked with pain pills because like I don't want to buy street stuff, but I got like it was a friend of mine, like opioids. Confluence know this, they are like out there, but like pain prescriptions and stuff are like more clamped down here. Like it's harder to just find scripts and stuff floating around. I don't remember the name of the drug now, but I took 5 milligrams of it, and it knocked me on my ass, and it was considered to be a low dose. I can't remember what drug it was. If I remember, I'll say.
Was it an opioid?
It was an opioid, yeah. It was it's a pretty common one. It's a Percocet. A Percocet, yeah, that's what it was.
A Percocet knocked you on your ass.
Yeah, well, I have 0 tolerance. I've never been into like downers and stuff. So the most I'll do is like maybe take like a T1, which is a you can get over the counter here, which is
Yeah, we talked about those cold water extractions, Testy.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, which I used to do back in the day. But like, codeine is I think the half-life is like 4 to 6 hours, right? Which is one of the reasons it's considered to be like one of the safer ones. But like,
And it has a ceiling dose, fun fact. So it's like almost impossible to like
I think there's something
overdose
else,
on it alone.
there's another feature about it, like it doesn't actually cross the blood-brain barrier or something.
No, it does.
Oh, it does, okay.
But the ceiling effect means that like your body can, an oxymorphone can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's some ceiling dose for most people around like 300 milligrams, which could be enough to kill you. But if you take like, there's only an amount that your body can actually like absorb of codeine.
I see what you're saying.
And it's unique like that. Whereas other opiates, no, you're just like flood your body till you die.
Yeah.
But with codeine for some reason, and I think that's why they often give it like over the counter in T1s, or they're not too worried about even T3s and stuff because of that max.
Yeah.
A lot of 2 milligrams 3 times a day. I got one time. I had a root canal. This doctor is insane. Yeah, that is insane.
Oh damn. Yeah.
That is insane.
I always want the good shit, but they just give you the bare minimum. They're like, you're gonna feel pain, but at least you're not gonna be in hell.
Yeah, getting Dilaudid for a root canal, that must have been back in the day, I feel. I don't think they would do that now. Or the doctor was actually crazy, because that's, Dilaudid is like given for like heart surgeries. Is like Dilaudid is like one of the, like that's hydromorphone. That's one of the most like heaviest opioids that they give.
Being handed out like crazy. And here's the thing. Since then, we have not seen a decrease in overdoses. We have not seen a decrease in overdose deaths. We have not seen a decrease in new addicts. We haven't seen a decrease in long-term addicts. The statistics are still...
Testy?
Oh, sorry. I know we're cutting off every 2 seconds. I would be frustrated if I was on a panel and people pause every 5 seconds to dissect. But I think she said that overdose deaths haven't fallen. And I'm almost certain that's incorrect. I'm pretty sure like it get directly attributed to like Narcan has saved lives.
Yeah, I think so.
Some stats on it though. I could be wrong.
Guy in my back chat, I think I know who you are. Just say your name in the chat. And if it matches the name I think you are, I'll bring you up.
Showing that it's growing in numbers.
I'm pretty sure I know who you are. But just
fentanyl
to be
available
sure.
is actually giving us more drug addicted
naloxone?
people. Wait, let me finish. In our country, because of the way it's available, and then you throw the naloxone on top of that,
Long
and
time
they've
no
got
see,
fentanyl at
Wastelander.
$1
How's
a
it
pill,
going?
and naloxone.
Hey, how you doing?
$1
How you doing?
a dose.
Good.
So we're just going to keep what?
Just
doping
thought I'd
them
stop
up
in and say hi
saving
for a
them and
bit.
doping them up and saving them because they're all prescription medications.
Yeah,
See you,
it's
buddy.
you. We're going through this Narcan debate. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's the latest recreational substance that all the kids are using. Okay.
The shit used to stop drug overdoses.
Yeah.
By the way, wanted to tell you, I kind of got bored with it, but mostly when I was coming up on your panel, I was mostly just playing a character and trying to fuck with you.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. So, which is fine. I like the dopamine. It's all good.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the honesty.
But I just wanted to come up for a minute and say hi. So,
Yeah, no, it's good talking to you again.
This is a very
Hope you have a great night.
Yeah.
You too, bud.
Yeah, take care.
Just as a very quick stat, I think this is from the CDC, but from 12 months from September 2024, or ending, so I guess from September 2024 to 2025, it was down 87,000 from 114,000 the year before. I understand that's just one singular snapshot, but I mean that number seems somewhat low. So maybe it's not like a miracle thing that's just like stopping overdoses altogether, but it seems like there's been a decline.
The biggest problem, and maybe this is fixable if it gets more normalized, is that junkies are fucking retarded. So like even if they have Narcan and someone's overdosing, a lot of times they don't fucking use it. They'll just fucking run away. It's the same with like, how like a bunch of states, and I think this is true in Canada. Yeah. Well, yeah, and they've made those laws to say, because junkies are always worried like about like getting arrested and stuff, which I understand why, but they made laws in like a ton of places, right, where you can call if someone's overdosing and the police will leave you alone. They're like the EMS will just come and they'll take care of the person. But there's been so many cases where the junkies will just abandon someone to fucking die and not call anything.
or they're
Yeah.
worried they're gonna get their shit taken. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And they'll just like leave their friends to fucking die. And that's like, and so that's the thing. A lot of times the Narcan will be present and they'll just fucking leave. They'll fucking scatter.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck, man?
Well, hear me out. I mean, if they would do it to themselves, is it immoral for me to do it to them?
Yeah, I guess if everyone has this understanding, but then even why have the Narcan if you're not at least stab the guy with the fucking Narcan and then run away or something? I don't know, man, dude. Or run away and then call 911. Pick a lane, but do something. Don't just fucking leave. Fucking junkies, man, for real.
Well,
Terrible times.
I mean, I've never done like, I mean, apart from again like codeine or the odd pain pill, but like I've never been like out of it on downers or like any sort of opiate. So maybe there's also like a panic like they're obviously not thinking straight. They're fucked out of their mind. So I don't know. Maybe that's a common thing where they're just like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble. I'm out of here.
I guess.
No, it's not a good thing. And I agree. At least like stab them with the Narcan, they'll be pissed later and get the fuck out. Like it takes you no effort.
Yeah. So, but I think maybe once it gets more normalized, and I know a lot of times they hand it out without the training. Sometimes in certain places they make you have a little, 10-minute training because it's not hard to really, understand how to use it. But,
Okay. So, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Digital is saying here, so overdose rates have declined somewhat in recent years, but they're higher now than before Narcan was available. I think that speaks to kind of what Witchy was saying, was that if there are more, like, it's sort of a two-pronged approach, right? Like, if there are more people that are starting to use these drugs, that's a failure on some front. But if there are more drug users than there were back then it also stands to reason there would be more overdoses, unless I'm missing something in the logic.
Yeah, the opioid epidemic is still a thing. It's not stopped by Narcan. And I don't think Diane's claiming that in the debate, right? And those are separate issues, right? We have more people turning to opioids, just like we have, like every year, there's more people turning to opioids. That's a different issue. Narcan's not going to solve that. Narcan's going to stop the people that are using opioids from dying. It's a weird argument if we're trying to say that Narcan is somehow the causative factor in causing more people to turn to opioids. I think that the burden of proof would be on the person saying that to, I guess, show why that would even hypothetically be the case. But yeah, like the two things are going up. Like obviously, overdoses, the more people that use, the more overdoses are going to happen. But if you look at probably overdose deaths per capita of people addicted to opioids, that number is going down. And that's the number we should care about if we're talking about Narcan. Obviously, Narcan is not going to stop people from turning to opioids, right? That's like a very complex thing on why the reason the opioid, epidemic is happening, right? I was on 8 milligrams of Dilaudid 4 to 6 times a day, 75 microgram fentanyl patches. Along with 2 milligrams Xanax 3 times a day. Crazy dealers. I mean, doctors. If they had a white lab coat, they're called doctors. That is crazy. 8 milligrams. That's messed up. That was given by a doctor. I mean, I'm assuming you must have had like a severe pain / anxiety condition.
I think there was a there was a peak around COVID as well. I think COVID made the issue a lot worse. I know it disrupts a bunch of supplies, so on one end it kind of helped, but I'm pretty sure overdoses as well rose in that period. But I'm not 100%.
I would imagine most because more people are obviously depressed and stuff and not doing good, turning to drugs, and then with COVID, you're probably more likely to be using opioids alone, right? In your bedroom instead of like with a bunch of other junkies, you know. And then if you're alone and using an opioid, well, again, you can't really Narcan yourself unless you like are really prepared. Maybe and you're like, I feel the overdose coming, and you fucking jab yourself. But that's probably very unlikely to happen. So COVID, you're locked alone. Yeah, you're just gonna fucking die, unfortunately.
These things come from Big Pharma, and Big Pharma is the one making money on both ends of this. So what? They're just there.
Oh my God, I'm sorry we gave you such a nuanced explanation, Denizen, that you completely ignored it and just say it's just math. Number of ODs is higher than before Narcan. Yeah, that's acknowledged by everyone on the panel. Okay,
I didn't acknowledge that.
Okay, that's fair. Me and Testy acknowledged that. We gave reasons on why that's happening. And your response is, it's just math. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree that the ODs is higher now. I would say that the number of people using opioids is higher. No one would say Narcan is stopping new people from being onboarded onto the opioid train. No one is saying that, right?
It's like a forest fire. The fire is spreading faster than you can put out the fire. That's kind of what's happening. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't spray water at the fire. It just means that the fire is winning.
Right. Okay. Oh, you're saying I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the person who said what I said was false.
Oh.
Okay. Well, okay.
Right.
You can use the little @ symbol though if you want to like say something then it's more like clear, you know.
Alan's being a little sassy tonight.
I am being well. Alex hasn't been on in a while, so I have to pick up the sass mantle. You know, I think I'm doing a pretty good job.
Let big pharma profit over and over again on one end for their overdose and on the other end for their revival.
So with respect to again, you still haven't linked naloxone to increasing the amount of opioid-related deaths. I have statistics to say the contrary. You have no evidence that the people that are going to the hospital because they're junkies is actually interfering with people with prescription opioids to get help. I'm not seeing the correlation here, and you have no alternative. Like you're just saying, oh, they're going to die on the streets. And I think you're missing the fact that when somebody gets administered naloxone, they have to seek medical attention. It's well known. It's not like they can just go and use it again, right? And there's no other way for them to they can't get to a hospital when they're ODing. Not unless somebody drives and it can happen in seconds.
You really think that people who are ODing on the streets have access to go get medical treatment after their buddy sprays naloxone up their nose a couple times?
Somebody's going to call an ambulance. You call an ambulance. Most of these people are using drugs in the open or at a party where somebody has a home, or they're using.
If someone at least doesn't do the thing I said where they run off like fucking rats, if they actually do give their buddy naloxone, then hopefully when their buddy is overdosing again, they'll give their buddy naloxone again. Witchy, it seems like Witchy, and I don't know if you're maybe we could have it in an interview, but it sounds like you were saying before that like Narcan isn't going to fix it, but enough Narcan will fix any opiate overdose as long as you're not past the point. Like you might need multiple doses. The Narcan's half-life might be shorter than the opioid you're on's half-life, so you might go back into withdrawal. But if you just keep giving the Narcan, eventually, as long as your heart's not stopped and all that stuff, but if you're just having like a normal overdose, that is all you need is just enough Narcan. Like that is actually the answer. You know, obviously you should call 911. Obviously you should, but even if you don't, if you just continue to administer it, it will, stop the overdose.
Like their prescriptions at home.
It sounds like medical
Have you
advice.
walked through the neighborhoods where these people are at night, and seen what's going on? These people OD, they fix themselves. The only time typically that someone is called is if they OD out away from their known haunts. And
no, I'm talking about. See, this is why you say I'm slightly wrong. No, I'm talking about half-life. I'm talking about this is why I'm going to rip your ovaries out, Raven. Okay, this is why.
So much more aggressive. You're saying it's
rip your balls up. Yeah, that's so more aggressive. But no, I am talking about half-life. If you have something that's a long half-life, like substance, right? Like fentanyl is a very short half-life. That is what I'm talking about. Fentanyl is going to be in your system a lot quicker than some longer-lasting opioid, right? Whereas, so that I don't know how you're trying to cuck me like this, young Raven. I don't understand it.
The person being there is uncomfortable to the surroundings. And then the ambulances, like I said, the EMTs get there, and these people aren't grateful for the EMTs coming to save
they don't
their
say thank
freaking
you.
lives. They're pissed.
What does that have to do with whether or not they ought to be given a chance? These people don't have their faculties. They're ODing on a high level opioid.
Those are the kind of people we need to keep bringing back into our society and around our children and around our homes and around our businesses.
Thank you, no life saving.
And recover. They're not useless. They're not second-rate citizens.
The recovery rates are low. I did post recovery rates. Let me see if I can pull those up over here.
To me, the only question, I'll again bring up the statistic, but to me, the only thing that I'm concerned with is can they recover, and is there more of a 1% chance of them recovering? Because if that's so, that's worth it. And the fact that they're human alone, to me, is worth saving because they are created in God's image. So
that's a based argument.
That's kind of based.
God, I was so not tech savvy, AVG. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Can we get Beth to help us out? Beth.
No.
Oh, you're on mute.
If you drop the link backstage, I can most certainly show whatever you're trying to show, sweetheart. Copy and paste.
What are they trying to figure out right now? I don't even understand.
I can
We
share
need
it
an
once we get it
update on that
open.
guy
I'm having
trying to
issues.
kick
I
the
tried
other
to get
guy.
a lot of sources. I'm not finding
I need to
one.
know more about that.
I hate that. I do that too.
I think
I do
Witchy
that
said it
too.
was recovery rates. I think was the.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, that's
You
if
don't
she's
need me, you
pulling it
got
up.
it?
I believe so. I think
I
that's
think
what.
maybe.
I'm watching for the share screen.
If only
Just
there was
wondering
a
about the
number
after
there.
panel.
So, but yeah, after closing statements, I'm going to do questions one at a time this
Short
time.
debate.
And then we will absolutely open the panel.
No, we're not even close to being.
Oh,
we're
no.
only 26 minutes in. This
But
is
only
3
one
hours.
question, guys.
I think she's
Come up
just
and ask
like
a question,
talking about what's going to happen in
keep it to
like
one,
2
and then
hours.
hop back in line if you have more questions.
But I mean,
Okay,
I would think
so
unless the like
that
unless
is
everything
now
else is just question and answer.
present.
oh,
No, it looks like it goes
always
it goes
add
for
a couple
another hour.
Oh, okay.
And then Flow State joins, who I'm still mad at, by the way. Flow State, if you're seeing this.
Got it. All right.
So let's see.
ooh. Okay, I won't say anything yet.
This is from an addiction center website. Yeah.
American Addiction Centers. It's,
When
I
you
think,
want it down, just say
compiled data.
Yeah. To the back, Beth.
You may also be interested in addiction statistics.
Kind of like how Paige read and or memorized her.
I'm not
study.
finding the numbers again, and they were.
You mean
here.
Diane.
Oh, excuse me, Diane.
You and your
AVG.
dead naming, your misgender. I'm getting sick of it, Big Soda. Frankly, I'm getting sick of it.
I don't know if they'll get into it. My issue with this is that Narcan is not like a. I put that almost as a separate category as like recovery or treatment.
Relapse rate for
Like a different tool for a different thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. If this was a methadone or a Suboxone debate, then I'd understand it. But yeah, this is about stopping overdoses. I don't think anyone is claiming that Narcan is like going to
Help recover.
I mean, it helps recovery in the sense that you live another day, and that's another day that maybe you could choose to recover, right?
Yeah, and
If you're
maybe,
dead, it's probably too late.
and for the select, because there are obviously the quote unquote repeat offenders this happen. For some people, overdosing, it could be an experience where that's them bottoming out. So it could be the case that maybe they are at that point then going to seek treatment and better their lives, and for them they have that like come to Jesus moment, no pun intended. But
The thing is, I don't. The thing I'm just thinking is like, what would even be the stat that we would show? Because if you don't bring someone back with Narcan and they die, well, they're not in this. It's like a survivorship bias thing, right? They're not in the stats to recover. They're dead. So it's like, I don't even know what the stat we'd be trying to show is. Like, because even if one person ends up recovering that was saved, well, then the recovery rate would be like infinitely bigger than if you didn't save that person, right? So
yeah, that's kind of
really.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, even if it's just the one person who was like bottomed out and then they recover, it's like, well, the alternative is that they would just have overdosed and died. So it's like, what are we talking about exactly? I don't know what stat you would really even be able to look for, but maybe she's going somewhere else with it.
See, Young Raven has posted a long comment to my DMs because she said it's too long to post, explaining what a half-life is. I know what a half-life. I know the words I'm saying, Young Raven. I understand what I understand. I understand what a half-life is. I know what a half-life is. I mean to say half-life when I say half-life. I don't know what to tell you.
Define it.
Tell you.
Use disorders is
But it's
Half-life
not
is,
that-
well, now Raven already said it, but a half-life is the point. The half-life of a drug has a half-life of 6 hours. That's the point at which half of the drug is gone. And after 6 hours, half of that drug is gone again. And then some mysterious thing happens that I don't know what happens where somehow all the drugs gone. It feels like a Zeno's paradox because if you just keep having something,
And also-
then you think every drug you took would always be in your system. But forget about that part. But in general, after
Well,
6
also,
hours, half the
when we
drug is
say-
gone because it like doesn't
we
work
mean,
linearly for most things. Alcohol, it does. Alcohol does not follow a set half-life thing. See, Rave, I'm proving that I know stuff. Alcohol doesn't. It follows the linear thing. Most drugs are 50%, 50%, 50%, etc.
And when we say gone, we just mean metabolized, which usually is by the liver or kidneys or whatever. So yeah, that one, yeah, it's like it's been processed by the body.
Young Raven is saying half-life doesn't matter. How are you saying it doesn't matter when we're talking about Narcan? If you take methadone, Young Raven, methadone has a half-life of like 24 hours. Obviously, that's relevant to Narcan. Because if someone's overdosing, tell me I'm wrong, Raven, in the comments. Okay, in the comments, tell me I'm wrong. If someone is overdosing on methadone and you give them Narcan, you would have to probably give them like 20 doses or more of Narcan, because they're going to keep the half-life of methadone is so long. When you say duration of action, we're saying the same thing. So if something has a short half-life, it has a short duration of action. If it has a long half-life, it has a long duration of action, aka methadone. If you take methadone, you'd have to use so many doses. If you take fentanyl, because it's a short half-life, you need a few doses. So half-life is absolutely related to Narcan. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, there's also sorry, I didn't know that was your mic drop moment.
That was my mic drop moment. But you interrupted it. That's fine. You kind of cucked me there. I was kind of cooking, but go ahead.
Well, is Raven maybe talking about like peak plasma levels? Because that is slightly different, as opposed to
that's different. Sure,
yeah,
that's different.
Might be, yeah, maybe that's where I don't know, but anyway.
But either way, it's if you take a big enough amount of methadone. I want to hear Young Raven try to cuck me on that. Big enough dose of methadone to where you're dying. Would you not agree? Because methadone is a long half-life, Young Raven, that you would have to take many, many doses of Narcan, probably every like hour or 2 hours, because it has a 24-hour half-life. So you're going to have to constantly take that, because the methadone will just keep coming back and fucking murdering you over and over again, like some vengeful fucking lich.
It's somewhere right here is what.
Getting cooked from chat is wild.
Oh, see, there we go. Wait, Oxy, I think, is in my corner. We do Narcan drips for patients who that's actually a fun fact. I didn't know this. That makes sense, because if it's a long-acting opioid, something like methadone, for example, yeah, I guess you would need a drip. I never thought about that, but I guess it makes sense that you would fucking drip feed it to them. Oh, there we go. I knew I would summon Diane eventually. If you're trying to nap, but you should be staying up, can I recommend listening to someone review your debate and getting interrupted every minute? It's sort of good to see Warlock fluids.
That's so true. Yeah.
You guys are saying such things that I want to talk about. That's not my fault. If anything, that means it's an interesting debate. The more I pause, the more intriguing it is. So you should take it as a compliment. An annoying compliment, perhaps, but a compliment nevertheless.
It doesn't say they don't get better. It just says they have a relapse.
Back to
It's pretty common with addictive substances.
Hey, James.
Especially opioids.
Here we go. Only 23% actually receive treatment. That alone tells you that most people aren't getting treatment, and the majority of people who aren't getting treatment are going to be the ones out on the street. But I'm not finding. I know it was.
Is this just like
in
all
this
drug
article?
Users? The 23% will just never seek treatment. I think a little bit more info.
I think she clicked the link, and now she's on a different page than the one we're seeing.
Going off of what I shared.
It sounded like she was reading something, but I think she clicked the link.
If you want to proceed, I can see that there's probably a high rate of relapse, and that there's a certain only percentage of people that seek treatment. But if we don't give them the Narcan, they'll never be able to seek treatment because they're not going to.
I remember, not to pause again, but I remember learning in one of my addictions classes in my psych studies that it's something like the average, and I'd have to check this again, but something like the average like opioid addict will have like 12 relapses throughout their life. Like they will like get clean and then relapse and get cleaner, and that will happen like 12 times. So the situation is dire in the best of cases. I don't know if Narcan it doesn't fix that. It doesn't hurt that. That's just how fucking opioid dependency and addiction works,
Yeah, not even just opioid specific. Like, and I can only speak as anecdotally, as I can also speak for other people who smoke cigarettes. But yeah, it probably was close to a dozen times before I actually quit over the course of years, right? So that's common, I think, amongst addicts. And I'm sure it varies by substance, but it is very uncommon to sort of quit on your first try.
Yeah. I've quit Zins 0 times, so I think I'm fucking winning. Okay.
You can die on the street.
Zins has a confluence addiction.
I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. It can't quit me. Not the other way around.
Children, sorry guys. I suppose that's something I'd have to see too. If they don't get the Narcan, they're not, and they're ODing, they're not going to get the treatment. But the issue
Based,
is that even
rewatched
if they get the
again by me.
Narcan, they're not getting the treatment, most of them. And even if, because we see Narcan use up distribution. I have a distribution map in our notes. I could probably pull that up. Narcan distribution is up in the last 10 years astronomically, and yet the OD rate, the fatality OD rate is up. We don't even have numbers on the actual ODs because a lot of them aren't reported now because they're getting Narcan on their own, and then they're just going right back out and using. These reports show that
Tess, this is
deaths
probably
are
what
up
she clicked on, I'm
Narcan
guessing.
was introduced and spread out drastically, and
AVG even said you grant this because like
the number of
really
addicts is up,
think
which
it's like
means recovery rates aren't
relevant to
up. If we've
Narcan.
got a lot of deaths and a lot of existent addicts, how can recovery rates be up under Narcan? Do you have statistics that show where since Narcan was made available the way it is, that recovery rates have improved anywhere?
So there is no direct correlation between naloxone
what's
being available
survivorship
or
bias?
Narcan and
And
there
do
actually
it.
being a increase in the amount of people that abuse it. You can't abuse Narcan. You can abuse opioids. It is true that if somebody uses Narcan and then proceeds to use opioids again, yes, they're likely going to OD. But if they don't have access to the naloxone, they OD either way. Basically, what we're entering into with your question is, okay, so there's going to be a problem where people don't seek the adequate treatment that they're supposed to after the Narcan's administered. I concede that, sure, right? But without the naloxone, none of them will. So they'll all die, right? There's no way if there's an onset of an overdose that they're going to be able to get to a medical professional unless a doctor or nurse with Narcan happens to be walking by a bad part of town, which is, I mean, that's going to be a very small percentage of happening, right? So, and you don't have an alternative, right? If naloxone isn't helping, as you're asserting, if there's been an increase in these problems since then, and that there's not an adequate recovery rate, which is counter to my...
I do have an alternative, but you don't like it. My alternative is let them die.
Let them die.
There we go. There it is.
Mask off, Witchy. Mask fucking off. Why wear it at all? Why fucking wear it at all?
For people in their situation.
Saying the quiet part out
the very same
loud
people who
for
are handing out
real.
naloxone to them are also offering them buses to detox. They're also offering them the ability to get counseling. They have services available to them. They don't take them. So what I'm telling you is, short of a medical professional getting this person into a medical setting to apply the naloxone, the outcomes aren't that great. We're spending this money, we're putting this effort, we're keeping these people on our streets.
It's just Witchy cucking her own prompt then, because again, this is nothing to. This is just anti-Narcan. This is just like don't use Narcan, just let them die, because an EMS worker showing up and giving them Narcan. Witchy doesn't like that either. Let them die. That's what she said. So the whole prompt is fucking cucked.
What I used to make that, it was like as a meme argument, but I was like, if you could do this, right? Yeah, like just like stop sending out the EMTs, basically, just like let the problem, let them burn through it, and then simultaneously also purify the drug supply, because actually pure drugs would actually lead to more overdoses. So, you could have a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, there you go. Should have used that argument, Witchy.
Yeah, where our children walk, where our businesses are run, where they're defecating and urinating in the streets. And I'm not talking about just homeless. I'm talking about addicts.
Well,
and we're keeping them alive over and over again. We're not providing them a safe place to do it. We're not providing medical care for them after they get the naloxone and use it. A lot of them aren't even aware how the naloxone works, what the possible side effects to their body are if they use the naloxone, and
the side effects to their body
use, and they use again, and how much when that block ends, how much they're going to hit double at once.
They're already dying, though. They're already dying. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, maybe people don't realize that. Yeah, it's the naloxone's going to wear off, and then they're going to. But if you're using naloxone, the person's already dying. So even if they don't know this and they come back to life and then they use more fentanyl and they fucking die, okay, they're dead. They would have been dead anyway. Like, and I guess you wasted 50 cents of a drug. I don't even know what the argument would be.
They're not given any kind of options for recovery or treatment for their addiction or their behaviors if they're able to give themselves an naloxone, or their buddy can give it to them on the street. Not only that, but I thought you would focus on this more, so I kind of prepared for it.
So did Vancouver.
But these we have the addicts out in the street. But you did mention, what about the little old lady on her
heroin
meds,
clinic,
or a young kid like
your
my
method
dog
doesn't
that existed.
Your method
Apple
doesn't
is
protect her.
taking some pain medicine and can't get it. Well, here's the thing: if that somebody is responsible and has responsible people in their lives and has proper medical care in general, they're going to have access to it. You're going to call an ambulance and they're going to come. And here's the thing: the ambulance getting there is
It's like
almost
based on your zip code.
90% of the time in time. Most ambulance drivers who come for an OD are able to administer naloxone in time to save these people. It's when the naloxone's not available or an ambulance is.
That's such bull. I want to see a source for that. I want to see a source. If someone is actually like full respiratory depression, you got like a few minutes, 5 minutes maybe. By the time you get that's the importance of having people on site. I mean, I lived in Vancouver, in Gastown, fucking based, which is also Vancouver is a city of like a million districts where you walk in one direction, it's fucking bougie as shit. You walk a block in the wrong direction, you're in fucking Pigeon Park and everyone's fucking overdosing. I'd see people fucking turning gray. And I mean, they're fucking dying. They're actually dying. And then the people would come from, the little place, the needle exchange, and they'd fucking resurrect those people and they'd wake up like fucking zombies, man. But it's like, if you called somebody and waited for an EMS, that person would be dead. They're not breathing. I've seen them. It's a horrifying thing to see. They're fucking all gray. They're literally not breathing at all. Yeah. It's fun. Like they would not survive a 10-minute wait. They're just dying.
I saw a guy passed out. This is like right on Main and Hastings, which for anybody who's unaware, that's just kind of like Vancouver's Skid Row. It's like the Tenderloin in San Francisco or whatever. They are equivalent. But it's like, I remember it was pouring rain. I was at a concert, so I was just like under an awning, vaping outside or something. And
it's the second time you've used the word awning today, by the way. I'm just going to point that out. Keep going.
Worry. I'll keep using it. But no, this guy was he was literally, again, pissing rain. He's passed out on the sidewalk, like just blocking the actual sidewalk, laying on his back, so he's face up, and it's just raining on him. And he's just I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I can see, his chest is rising, like so slowly, like he's clearly out of it. And people are just like stepping over him, and then finally one of his buddies kind of came over and is like slapping him on the face. He's like, he's fine. He's and I'm just like, man, this is it's just abject human misery on display.
Yeah.
Fucked. And and
walking down East Hastings, you see crazy shit. Yeah, you see crazy shit. This is a brief story, but it sticks in my mind like a fucking plague, man. And not about opioids. There was on Hastings in Maine, where all good stories begin. There was a person who was maybe 485, and he had an ailing mother who was probably in her 80s, in a wheelchair, and he was holding up a crack pipe to her mouth and helping her smoke crack, his 80-year-old mother. And it's just this is just something that you see it and you're just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? The places that people go is just
Vancouver also
horrifying.
Decriminalized public. One, they decriminalized possessions of small amounts, and then they also allowed essentially using in public. And I think it lasted for a year.
Decision.
It lasted for maybe a year, and of course they reversed it so fucking quickly. There was massive social backlash. But I went downtown around that period of time, and it was literally people just on the sidewalk shooting up into their arm. It was just horrifying. And then people just obviously leaving just needles and shit all over the place. It was bad. It was really bad. Now here's the thing though. It's in some ways it was good to see, because it's because there's not the criminal part of it. You're just allowing them to sort of fester and rot in place. It doesn't mean it's gotten any better. They've just pushed it back to the shadows, which it feels like an improvement on some level. Maybe societally it's a bit of an improvement. There's just less danger, immediate danger with needles and drug use out in the open like that. But at the same time, it's you still haven't really addressed the problem. You've just pushed them back into the shadows. So that shit is still happening. But yeah,
I always say that the half cents on these, I think and I think this is Vancouver's problem, is they're not gonna like full send this stuff and like go for like some type of like legalization. But these half send methods, I think, are the worst thing. Like that, like anyone could have said that was going to go fucking horrible. That just that you can like use in public. But we're not fixing the problem. There's still fentanyl in the drugs. There's still like we're not solving anything at all. But now you can just like use in public, which it's not like Tess, if you've been in Vancouver a lot, it's not like the police are making a habit of arresting someone for just using on the street anyway.
No,
I've seen cops walk up. It's almost like that's another weird thing. The cops, it'll be like a kid like chewing gum in school where they're not allowed to do it. Like I've seen cops go up to people and be like, "Do I see something?" And the person's like, "No," and then they pull the needle back, and the cop's like, "I hope I didn't see that," and then they like walk off. Like they're not fucking arresting just random users on the homeless drug users. They're not fucking doing that to begin with. So to pass that law is just such liberal misguidedness. It's just fucking insane.
I'm not even going to argue with you on that one. And like the funny thing is that Maine and Hastings, one of the, I guess, ironic things is that's where the Vancouver police station is. It's on that corner. They're literally right outside the police station. Like they're lining that street. So it's like, that's the level of the problem. It's not like they did do this effort where they tried to break up kind of the quote unquote like shanty towns because people had like propane tanks and shit and were just living off the sidewalk or like behind like these old chain link fences and stuff. Because like you couldn't even walk down the sidewalk. It was just like completely covered with homeless people. Like there's nothing in both sides of the street. Like there's nothing you could do. So they went and broke those up. But yeah, they just there's I don't know. I'm at a point where, and I've been saying this for a while. Again, maybe it is more of a right. I see it as a compassionate thing. I kind of don't give a fuck if it's left or right. But I am more in support of like forced treatment. And I understand that that's an expensive option, and it's why it doesn't happen. But like, I am in support of like reopen the asylums and force drug treatment, like drug treatment or jail, and like give people some hope, some actual hope, and like prospects in life, and teach them some actual life skills.
At least BC did pass that. Where what if you have a chronic drug addiction and some type of like I think brain damage, then they can like forcibly intervene now.
Yeah,
I think it's the two conditions. I don't know how successful that's been, but
I could be wrong, but I think they have some sort of like 3 strikes and you're out kind of thing, where it's like if it's like petty crime or whatever, but on your third try, if you're still your third like appearance in front of the judge, it's like jail or rehab. I think they do offer something like that, but it takes a little bit to get there. Yeah, but.
Oh wait, I want to answer Brandon's question briefly. Where was that?
On the other side,
would you rather live that kind of life or be in the Epstein files? You didn't do anything untoward though. I'd rather be in the Epstein files. You know, if I did nothing wrong, that's just like being kind of famous. You know what I mean?
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Now, if I did something wrong, I would rather be on the street and living like that.
That's fair. Yeah.
You either want to have done something untoward and not be in the files. You don't want the two things to happen at once. You don't want to be in the files because then no one at least knows about it in the other direction. But if you've done something bad and you're in the files, then you're just fucked. You know. So that's my answer to your question, Brandon.
Isn't called that they would die. And I'm sorry, those people that if your own friends don't even want to call an ambulance for you, your own family isn't taking care of you, and you're out there in the street ODing over and over again, we don't need you. You're a drain on society.
I made a compelling
They're not
case,
producing anything. What productive measures are they giving to society?
I like how Witchy waited. So, I mean, I guess we've been pausing a lot, but I feel like this is like very different than the opener. We're just like going like
from doing what they're trying to do.
I talk about the financials and all this shit.
You're making a huge.
I hope you answered up to say, you know, let's let the EMT die,
or
let's let the drivers die.
How to call an ambulance, or even able to be in a circumstance where they're not like out in the middle of nowhere where the ambulance is going to come in time, right? And the second one, second question that I would really pose to you is this, right? Do you know anybody who's recovered from opioid addiction? Do you know anybody who's recovered?
I do know about this, Alice, and I mean, I don't know if there's like more. Oh no, this is 2018. Yeah, so I have seen this, and I think it's good data. I still think it's a half send though, because they just did decriminalization. I think you do need to have, I understand that this hasn't really been tested too well. I think it just has to be fucking legalized. Okay. Unironically, I think it just does. And it still maybe has to be that you maybe have to go through some hoops or whatever to get it, to not have like random people be like, I want to like try heroin and stuff like that. You know, maybe the same way to get on like a methadone program, you have to like piss positive for like opioids. You can't just like show up. Like Big Soda can't walk into a methadone clinic and they'll just give him methadone, right? He has to like do a fucking urine test to show that he's already on opioids, right? So maybe it could be something like that. But I think a full legalization is the better option, because otherwise I don't see Portugal. Like obviously I think it's better what they're doing, but it's not like decriminalization is not going to stop the fentanyl problem, right? Like that's kind of my issue. And in 2018, the link that you posted, right? I think the data is not as good as it used to be because of stuff like that. I don't think that exact program would work in places like Vancouver and other places where fentanyl is just so all over the place. 07's OxyCat.
Later.
Oxy can give people Oxy, if you think about it. Okay, she is an actual pharmacist, so everyone DM her and ask for drugs. Okay,
that's how it works. Yeah.
For enough super chats, Oxy will personally prescribe you.
I don't know about that.
Right? Is this just something you just are not familiar with, that it occurs, or?
So I was born addicted to heroin.
Mm-hmm.
It checks out.
Of no fault of your own.
My mother recovered from heroin addiction in my life. Naloxone didn't exist for her, so we won't even go there.
Right.
I myself am a member of a recovery program for alcohol. I am an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
A recovered alcoholic, gratefully recovered from a hopeless state, but an alcoholic nonetheless. Always
Confluence
and
knows
forever.
about being an alcoholic.
I have lots of friends in recovery. I sponsor people in recovery and have a sponsor myself in recovery. So I'm well aware of how recovery works, and recovery only works for people who want to recover. We're talking about people out here who are not interested in the recovery, because
you can't want to recover if you're dead, though. That's the thing. If you live another day, that's another day that you might want to recover. If you die, you definitely can't want to recover because you're, dead.
Even as a former addict that she's admitting, which I'm glad that your life is in a better place now, but can you not understand intimately that you do want to recover, that you do want to change, and that you're in the throes of addiction? I feel like it should be the easiest thing in the world to relate to.
Yeah, that is true. I guess, yeah. I mean, if I do this interview with Witchy, I do want to ask that, because it's like you would think, there's a time where maybe you hit rock bottom and then you're like, okay, now I'm actually for real, and you do enough actionable steps to make a change. But probably, if you're an addict, something's wrong, if your life is that bad.
Yeah,
you're just either feel like you lack the agency, or you lack the capability, or you keep failing. But probably a part of you wants to change. It doesn't want that lifestyle, at least I would think. I don't know what your case is exactly, Witchy. I don't know if you're still watching, but but I'll remember to ask these questions hopefully when we talk.
Those same people who are handing out the naloxone and handing out the clean needles and clean kits are the same people who are also offering recovery options and Christian therapy homes. My state funds a lot of that stuff, so I happen to be very well aware that the same people are going out handing out these life-saving measures are also offering true life-saving measures through recovery and through Christ especially. That's a very big part of a lot of these groups, and there's those that are secular, for those turned off by the the chip on their shoulder about God.
So is Witchy fine with that? But the fact
of the matter is, these are
unless I'm misunderstanding, Big So's about to dip on us with his Irish goodbye magic trick. But there he goes. But I wonder if she's fine with that then, because I agree. I think that yes, I don't think you should just do, but I don't think they normally do this. I think at least I think most needle exchanges or places that hand out this stuff, right? They will. You can talk to somebody and you can get help. I mean, and that's kind of the idea, is that if you want clean needles, if you want your Narcan, if you want whatever, you go to this place, and there's always an option. There's some sign up. There's someone who's like, hey, do you want help, right? And you usually say no, but you at least can say yes, right? And that's the point. You put what you need in the place that you can get help, right?
Yes, and I think that it's effective for community outreach, because they used to do things where people would go out into the community, and it's like, that's just inherently risky. Like, props to people who go and try to do that. But the nice thing about like an Insight or a needle exchange is like they're incentivized to come there, and it's like, you know, like, yeah, maybe it's like attending a timeshare meeting for them. It's like, fuck, I gotta go sit down and hear all the, you know, the usual spiel. Like, you know, like I get that. Maybe they're not interested. Like, I think that that's sort of where I differ, because it is still completely optional. But at the very least, you are exposing people to the option that treatment is available and it exists. So it's like, I feel like if you're just living your life on the streets, that thought probably doesn't even ever cross your mind, or you don't think there's anything for you. So it's like,
right.
if you get them in the room so that you can at least talk to them and they're made aware of these resources, that to me is infinitely like a better step, or a step in the right direction.
I mean, this is what I've said before, and it's a brief segue, but this is why I'm mad at the Canadian government making it so I can't buy my freaking Zins in gas stations anymore, because that's what got me onto this in the first place. Which, even though I am obviously horrifically addicted to nicotine, I'm not smoking anymore, which is infinitely better for my health. And I did this because when I went to buy cigarettes one day, and there's a big poster about, well, they call them Zonic in Canada, you know, different brand. Zins are not allowed for some fucked up reason, right? And I was like, I guess I'll try that. I guess I'll try Zonic. I would have. Now you have to buy them in pharmacies, but that's not where they sell cigarettes. So the only reason that I even decided to try this is because I went to buy cigarettes, and so you have to put the cure or the alternative, the better alternative, in the place where you're getting the poison, because that's what fucking happens. I would have never gone to a pharmacy. You have to go to a pharmacy. They're behind the counter. You have to like ask the pharmacist, hey, can I have some Zonic? It's like so much out of the way, and it's like, why wouldn't we have them next to the cigarettes, which is what they used to be like in Canada? And I would say the same thing with the opioid stuff. It's like, you would preferably, when people are forced to go to a needle exchange because presumably they want their fucking pins, then it's like you offer the stuff there, even if they don't take it. At least it's a possibility. Maybe it sticks in their subconscious. They see some sign. Maybe one day they're really down bad when they go in. They're like, yeah, I want to talk to someone, or I want to like explore options for recovery. You know, I don't know.
No, I agree.
You know. Oh, good to see you, Joan. How's it going? Yes, stop cigarettes, penis men and ladies. Joan, for everyone who doesn't know, is our resident Tagalog speaker, whose English is very entertaining but often confusing to read. But that's fine.
Also, people who are not availing themselves.
Yeah, FYI.
What?
Like, you can buy them online, so you could order Zyn online.
They're so expensive, though. They're so expensive because you have to order them from the States, right? And then you get fucking charged all the fucking duty and shit.
Probably do that. I really, well, compared to what you're paying now, I feel like there's got to be some kind of bulk website out there that
I've looked into it. It's like, it does not. Right. At best, it seems like if I buy like 50 of them, it ends up being like the same price. And at least I guess out of Zins, which I much prefer, because these are all mint flavored, because Canada bans flavored Zins. So like, they all have to be different types of mint. There's 3 varieties and they're all mint type.
That's so funny. If I ever meet up with you in real life, I'll bring you some Zins. I'll get them somewhere. I'll find them. I'll get them. Like, even if I have to order,
you got a connection?
Oh, like it'll cost me more, but for you, it'll be like a gift. I'll give you like, here's some
non-based.
Yeah.
Here's some... It's the same thing I complain about with. I used to use chewing tobacco, like Copenhagen and Skull and stuff.
That's rough. That's a rough one.
I love. Copenhagen, and they fucking banned my wintergreen Copenhagen, and I'm like, and their argument was teens. I'm like, what teen is using wintergreen, an old man flavor, and dipping tobacco? Like, go after the vapes more. Go after the flavored vodka. Go after the fucking coolers. Fine. At least there's an argument there that kids are going to be maybe doing this. No kid is using wintergreen chewing tobacco. I'm sorry. That doesn't fucking happen. Yes, God, I hate Canada. You know? Fuck.
Of recovery. So you really think those are the same people who just want to be high all the time and escape the world?
You have to both like wintergreen and dipping tobacco as a kid.
After they're already awake and starting to detox, they're going to go to the hospital and get the proper treatment and then what happens is 6 weeks later, I don't know about you guys because you have socialized medicine, so it's completely different than how it works here.
Mhm.
But we have privatized medicine in the United States, and these people go to the hospitals and they're suffering from the effects of their drug overdose 2 weeks last week, and the next one, the other one 3 days ago, and their kidneys are failing, and they go in and they use these indigent funds. Well, how hospitals mostly fund these indigent funds is by raising the prices for the rest of us. And so if you don't have good insurance, you're paying more for your procedures to cover the procedures for those people who should have been left on their own, or administer the
I don't know
Narcan
what
by
this
a
means,
professional
Joe.
so that the treatment could have
I don't know
been
what
given
this
in
means.
time, so they're not on dialysis every week at the emergency room and I'm paying for it.
So we're going to talk about the cost on society in a bit, because I know you're itching to get towards that. And I feel like it's probably going to be one of the cruxes of your argument, and I would love to talk about that. But first off, I just want to recap a couple of things here, and I want to make sure that you're aware. Narcan is only for actual
John's
overdoses
fucking
that are occurring,
mugging
right?
me.
So if we
What the
fail to
fuck?
prevent the overdose, if we aren't able to get that person, regardless of what you think they want or don't want, the truth is you don't know what that person is actually thinking, right? If we don't get them that treatment, they won't survive. So they can't get any recovery. They can't get any treatment, regardless of your assumption or state of mind. The second thing is you did admit that it is possible to be an addict of no fault of your own and to recover. And you've seen it happen on at least 2 cases that you've advised me, right? So we know it's possible. So after we've gotten those things through, unless I've misstated your position, let's talk about the cost of society. What would you like to make in terms of points on that? You said that they cost the emergency services quite a bit of money. Do you have any statistics on that, or where are we going with that?
So for starters, when you brought up the cost of Narcan, you said it's about $1 per
year.
taxpayer
Yeah.
per year to provide Narcan for everybody who needs it. Can you show me those numbers? Can you pull them up? Because that doesn't match with how much I saw we were spending.
Yeah, I had it. I don't think I circulated this, but I can pull it back up.
You don't have an Obsidian?
Yeah, I think it was from the
No.
Guardian. They did a
I use
AVG,
Obsidian.
what the fuck?
Obsidian's the best, dude.
Yeah.
I was late to the game, but I use it for everything.
Diane's pulling a witchy. Jeez. Citing a stat in one of, I think, your opening or something? Not having it on lock? That's crazy.
I don't know if this is like a man versus woman thing, but like
that's so.
When I see the ladies debating here, excuse me, even the host, they're so much more calm. They're just like less emotional.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, you just
I
want
want
the
them to
dope.
be I want them to be screaming at each other. This part was a general search. Admittedly, it works out to roughly $1 if you divide the cost per unit by the amount of taxpayers. That is different. The cost per unit. So if someone is boofing Narcan and like they're using like 75 shots, in a year. So not $1 for all the Narcan, $1 per unit.
I mean, intuitively, just based on what the cost it is to produce it, I could believe that. Like I'd be fine taking that at face value, even if it's not like a a silver bullet argument, like, or point or something. Like, yeah, I'm fine. That sounds about right. That's fine.
What is the actual amount, AVG, if you know, of then just like producing one dose, like without averaging it?
I want to be too dramatic. I think it's like 5 cents per dose or something. It's like insanely low.
Is it? But what about that? Can't be maybe like for the naloxone itself, but for the auto injector and stuff.
Of Narcan.
25 cents for generic? Like, does that include the auto injector? Like, I feel like that alone has to be more than 25 cents. I understand naloxone itself is like dirt cheap, but like to put it into a nice fancy little kit for a junkie to, conveniently whip out. Or do you mean $25? Because that seems like way higher than I would guess. If we're talking dollars, $25. That is, now I'm on Witchy side. I'm just kidding, but $25 is a lot more than I would expect.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking it up. It looks, yeah, I see 26. So yeah, $25. It looks like per
For the
dose.
auto injector or for the
This is
intranasal or
specifically the auto
intranasal?
injector. I'm guessing the intranasal is probably way cheaper, but
Yeah, because then you're just spraying some shit up your nostrils.
so there was some Senate investigation. So the kit, so it costs in retail, it costs $174 for this
Of
is for a
course.
double dose, and then the U.S. overhead. So the overhead, I guess that's about 29, and then yeah, so it averages out. So but yeah, $25. Yeah, that sounds right.
I love that there's brand name Narcan. You know, instead of, like it's so the whole brand name stuff is so fucking stupid. Why would anyone, especially with this, something that it's like you're not generally paying for if they're giving it out? Why does anyone pick the brand name? Is this some like
Knowing
U.S.
the
culture that happens? Or,
yeah,
like,
knowing
what?
the U.S., it's probably like some exclusive deal or something because they probably deal with it at the state level. If I had to guess, so it's probably just like, hey, we'll fill these orders with our particular. It's got. I mean, if it's been out since what AVG say since like 1960 something, so obviously generics would be available at this point.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think the argument still stands where it's like, yeah, that like even like again the amount that that an ambulance will cost to have multiple EMTs come and spend, you know, how many hours, and if they have to take that person in, like that's just going to cost a lot more than a dose of Narcan is going to cost, you know.
Right. I mean, I view it. I know this isn't like the exact analogy because there's a lot of overlap. But if we're talking about something like insurance, right? Like the reason insurance companies make money is hoping that nothing will happen. But there might be something. Let's take like car insurance, right? It's like if 90% of people don't get in car accidents over the course of their like contract of their insurance or year to year, but then you're going to have a case where it's like a car is totaled and you're going to have to pay out like buy it out or whatever for like let's just say 50 grand plus then they have injuries, there's extended medical stuff, it might cost them $100,000 or something for one particular case, right? Like yeah, you're still not losing money because let's say it is that dollar per dose or whatever that works out to. It's like yeah, but you know, as Witchy said, it's 1% of the population. And however even many Narcan, even if it's multiple doses per person or whatever, the fact that the vast majority of people, this isn't even like part of the conversation, like they will never use Narcan, they have no reason to ever get Narcan. I feel like that more than makes up for it. Like in absolute numbers,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I would think so. How much do we have left in this? I'll probably call it quits for now. Yeah, this is definitely gonna have to be a two-parter. Well, we've made it halfway, which is impressive. Tomorrow is trivia. I think I can't remember what the topic was. I can't remember if Rage Page decided, but tomorrow's trivia.
What did she say? She said it in chat. I can't remember, but yeah.
I can't remember either.
No, it was on this day in history or something like that.
I know it's not Juneteenth tomorrow. No, that's next week, right?
No, I think she
next
said
week's
like
Juneteenth.
this day in history. It was like something like that she had written.
Okay, so possibly history, this day in history trivia, possibly tomorrow.
I think so,
Trivia
yeah.
at some point, made by Rage Page, hosted by me, of course. Who else would do it, you know? And then on Wednesday, we'll be to part 2 of this. And then Witchy said that she would come on for an interview about this debate. So that will happen at some point in the future.
I know we're not.
So
I know we're not finished the debate, but and I think Witchy might have left. But good job, AVG. Like you're very.
yeah,
coherent.
AVG was fucking cooking. Okay,
Yeah.
absolutely cooking. Fantastic job. But
And
maybe
like,
she really falls apart in part 2. We're gonna have to see that on Wednesday. Okay, no pre-watching anyone.
yeah, it could.
You might
go
totally
completely
shit
off
the bed.
rails. Yeah. It just, so I won't speak too early, but so far, so
I heard
good.
she just starts uttering just like racial slurs just all the time. So I might have to like download it and then like bleep them out and stuff. So
Or she's like, all right, well, like I can understand your argument for like certain parts of the population, but like, what about the white people? Like,
it gets really crazy.
All right, well,
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I was actually gonna dip a lot earlier, but then when Big Soda left, I was like, I can't abandon the guy.
You can't. Good call. That would have been terrible. That would be akin to leaving your overdosing friend to die without, staying with them, giving them some Narcan. Okay. So thank you, Testy.
Yeah, no worries.
Everyone come back on Wednesday for part 2, and everyone come back tomorrow for trivia. Okay. For real. It's gonna be a fun time.
All right. Are you out of here?
All right. I am out of here. 07's chat. God bless you, Testy. God bless you, chat. And again, good job, Diane. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Bow.